Podmortem would like to thank Original Cinematic for sponsoring this week's episode. Original Cinematic is an independent production company that has made it their mission to create, produce, and promote films that are inclusive, honor women, promote the LGBTQIA+ community, and provide prominent positions and roles to POC actors and filmmakers, and promote the films of marginalized and underrepresented populations. These are all things that are extremely important to our podcast as well.
Original Cinematic is proud to be a WGA signatory company, and they fully stand by the WGA, SAG, and their members in their fight for extremely reasonable standards. Accordingly, they are not accepting script or treatment submissions at this time, but both William and Xxena Rush are available via email, free of charge, to discuss writing and provide input and resources to all aspiring writers. Their information will be made available in the show notes. Ahead of the strike, William Rush has individually produced numerous projects, including Coffee with Baba, Day by Day, They Slay, Before, Pack is Here, Abacue, The Winemaker, and Where Do You Draw the Line?
2 feature films, Group and Immersion, are slated for release this fall. Absolutely no picket lines will be crossed and no collective bargaining agreements will be violated in the making of either of these films. And very generously, Original Cinematic is providing all Podmortem patrons with a special link to view these films. If arrangements can be made, they will even schedule a virtual or in-person screening for our patrons. We cannot thank Original Cinematic enough for their contribution to our show and the horror community as a whole. Now, back to our regularly scheduled program. Salutations! Welcome to Podmortem. I'm Reneé Hunter Vasquez, joined as always by my co-host, my husband, and my brother.
Hi, I'm John Paul Vasquez.
Hi, I'm Travis Hunter.
This week, we are recording live from a crooked courthouse discussing the 1996 supernatural horror film, Thinner. This film was directed by Tom Holland, with the screenplay by Holland and Michael McDowell, based off of the 1984 novel written by Stephen King under the pseudonym Richard Bachman. After multiple years of developmental arrest and numerous attempts to get this film made, it was finally released in 1996 to less than favorable reviews. Thinner remains mostly faithful to its source material, but couldn't avoid changing plot points and even the ending due to studio meddling. Regardless, this film remains a polarizing one to many horror fans. This film was requested to us by friends of the show, Brent Payne, Gory Bits, Bobby Holmes, Monster Mailman, Mr. KNV, Alan Johnston, and Amanda Lopez. We want to thank all of them for their support as well as for this suggestion. This film was also the winner of our September Patreon poll, so thank you to all of our patrons who participated and voted. If you want to help us pick an episode, join us over on the Patreon at patreon.com/thepodmortem. So, what did you guys think about Thinner the first time you saw it?
I don't think I seen this in theaters. I most definitely watched this either on DVD or the TV on TNT because they used to always
all
play
the time.
Yeah. But I remember watching it when I was still a teenager, and I still was like, "What the fuck's happening?" Like, it's not bad, but it's all right. It's Thinner, you know. It's.
You saying it's not bad
good,
implies
it's
that it's just regular.
That's all right. Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
There's some stuff, you know. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
It's Thinner, you know. But watching it for the show, it wasn't as bad as I remembered it from watching it a long time ago. There are things I did find interesting, and there was other things that I was just like, all right, well, but it's not too bad. I mean, it's not a bad movie. It's it's Thinner.
You're struggling.
Yeah, it's Thinner.
A glowing recommendation, team.
Okay, so I have to be honest. I know that I've gone at this movie pretty hard on Talkmortem.
You both have.
On Discord. And also several more times on Talkmortem. But I mean, look, we watched this movie a lot as kids. There's a lot of nostalgia tied up into it. Not as much as other films that we watched in this era.
All right.
But I will say that it is fun. A lot of times not for the right reasons.
Yeah.
But it is still fun, and I had fun watching it. I will say that it's... I mean, the tone is weird.
Yeah.
Right?
No, yeah. I think maybe that's the problem I had. Was
Okay.
the tone of it.
Because I think that there are some points that I really want them to go more forward with the horror. And they have these moments that are comedic to a fault.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're intentionally comedic or if they're funny because I'm like, I can't believe this is what they're doing.
Probably that.
Yeah. Because there's quite a few of those. But I will say, even though I did like it more this time than I remembered liking it, because I think I rewatched it maybe a year or two ago.
Yeah.
But I liked it more than when I watched it that time. But I will say that at the end, it kind of just completely falls apart for me.
Yeah.
Like some of the choices that they make, they just feel so anticlimactic. And it is it's a supernatural horror film.
Yeah.
And it gets solved in the weirdest means.
Yeah.
Than the weirdest things that inspire such decisions that it's like, all right, I just don't understand.
I'll give you that.
Like, really? This is where we went with this?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, one thing I will say, and we'll talk about it a little bit more as we get into the plot. I actually remembered the makeup being a lot worse than it is. And I actually thought that a lot of the work that they did is actually pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised because in my head, like the headcanon, if you will, I always thought that one of the things that was a mark against Thinner was how unconvincing the makeup was.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember everything looking good, and then watching it for the show, I was like, damn, that still looks really good.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought that because I was like, well, that's clearly. But it's not as bad as I recall.
Yeah.
And I was actually impressed in certain scenes and some applications that held up when they absolutely shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But I think I just wanted more like body horror
Yeah.
from this kind of a premise. And I wanted more subtext because, no pun, but it's a little thin.
Yeah.
Very good. You talked about pretty much shit talking this on Talk Mortem. Both of y'all have. And on the other side of the fence, I was the cheerleader.
Yeah.
It's funny because like you said, T, we watched this a lot as kids, and you said, John Paul, it's on TV all the time when they do the Halloween marathons. If it is on TV, it's on. I'm turning it on. I'm going to watch Thinner. I always loved this when I was younger. I got older and read the book. I really liked the book. So imagine my surprise in 2020 when we started a little podcast and I find out that people did not like this because I thought everybody was on the same page as me. Yeah. And I think T was like, oh, that was not good. And I was like, people don't like Thinner. Like I couldn't believe it. Yeah. And then even doing my research for this and looking at the reviews and looking at like the Rotten Tomatoes score, like it's very, very poor.
I think it's got like what 17
19, something like that. Something unbelievable to me.
You mean to tell me the beloved horror classic Thinner?
I know. I'm as shocked as you are. Yeah, no, but it sounds funny, but I genuinely had no idea that this was a film that people felt negatively about at all. So that was a lot to process. And
I know we go hard on it. It's not that bad, but really looking at it, I think you hit the nail on the head, T. It is tones of the movie.
I will give you that. Watching it now, we've always said that this show does make us look at movies differently. And this is one that is heavily influenced by my opinion when I was younger. And at a certain age, you kind of just accept what you're watching and you're like, wow, that was fucking crazy. You're not like, well, why'd they do that? You just accept the story as the story that you're being told. So watching it now toward the end, I'm like, really? That was interesting. I mean, that was an odd choice.
Yeah.
The ending, I'm not mad at. The thing that sets the domino effect into motion to get us to that ending is a little suspect. I will give you that.
I will say I don't like the ending only because of the motivations of these characters.
Yeah.
It is a little muddy. I'll give you that. And, there are some differences between the book and the movie that we'll kind of get into. But I'll give you that. There are a couple things for this movie being so short. Some things could have been fleshed out more. There are fates that are implied that, you kind of know where it's going. There are fates that are just neglected to be addressed that were addressed in the book, and then they don't,
And I know we talked off mic about a lot of reshoots from the test audiences.
Yes.
Like it's a lot of shifting things.
But overall, I still like this. I mean, I'm not going to be like, there's a 10 or anything like that. But I will watch this again when it's October and they're doing their little Stephen King marathons. I will be throwing it on the TV. I still think that it's fun. I think it uses some ignorant language that in 1996 people thought were okay, that we know now is not okay. I obviously will not be using that language. But the things that didn't age properly aside, I still like this. And people reading reviews and stuff for this, people talked a lot of shit about the prosthetics, about the makeup, which again, I'm like, am I looking at this wrong? Because this does not look, even now in 2023, this does not look bad to me.
No, I didn't think so.
I think what it is you don't see the blending lines of prosthetic, the adhesion of it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I expected. I thought it would be like a man in a mask or something.
Yeah.
And
they wear the t-shirt to hide the seam.
Yeah.
A turtleneck.
Yeah.
That's how people
it really
are
is.
talking about it.
Yeah.
Or we're talking about it, whatever. But I will say, as a kid, I was like, I can't believe that this actor, went through this fucking transformation. Give him all the awards.
Christian Bale learned everything he knew.
From this
from this performance.
From Thinner.
Well, he did go through some transformations.
He did.
Just not.
He did.
Just not
that kind.
This.
Yeah.
Kind of talking about, how this film came to be. I guess we can start at the top with, me, the book. I read an interview with Stephen King where he said that he went to the doctor, and I think he said he was 256, which again, the way that this character is portrayed in the film and the number on the scale kind of made me sick to my stomach, if I'm being honest, because it's like, whatever. We're doing a lot. But he said he was 256. I think in the novel, the character starts like 249 or something.
Okay.
It's like, I was like, really? And everybody's like, whoa, my God, Billy. It's like, dude. But anyway, his doctor told him that he had entered heart attack country and that he needed to stop smoking and he needed to lose weight. Okay. And so I guess over the next month or so, he is struggling quitting smoking. He is losing weight. And he said that he kind of felt resentful that he was being made to do this, because when he started losing weight, he realized that he didn't really want to, that he kind of liked it. And so he was like, what if I wrote a story about somebody who couldn't stop? And so that's where, again, Stephen King and, the old joke, look at a fucking lamp and he's going to think of something. But by this point, he was writing under the Richard Bachman pseudonym, and he had already done Rage, The Long Walk, Roadwork, and The Running Man, and this was the fifth one. So there was a bookseller, a guy that worked in a bookstore, in 1985. His name was Steve Brown, and he had read all of Stephen King's novels and he had read all of Richard Bachman's novels, and he's biting his style. He's copying Stephen King. He's pissed. He's furious. They said that he had contacted the publisher. He had written a letter to Stephen King. He had contacted his agent. He was like, this guy's fucking stealing it. He was mad. So this man goes to the Library of Congress and looks up the trademark or copyright or whatever of these books and saw that they were copyrighted under Stephen King's name.
Okay, here's the thing. That was Stephen King's mistake.
Yeah, no shit.
He's like, surely no one is going to look under here.
Not one person.
So he wrote a letter to Stephen King. I've heard various ways that this is, this gotcha moment happened, but I'm just going to go with the interview that I watched, Stephen King's story on it. And he said that he wrote him a letter and Stephen King called him back and was like, write whatever you want to write, print it. He was like, it's over. It's done. So, because even in the book jacket, it's a picture of somebody else. It's and again, some people were like, it was the gardener, it was the insurance agent. Yeah. Stephen King said it was, I think, his agent's friend who was like a tire guy.
You know what though?
His name was Richard Manuel.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Because what would it be like if this whole time you wrote all these books and it's just Stephen King with the fake mustache, no glasses. He dyed his hair. He's got a wig on.
He Chris Gaines.
Yeah, and everybody's like, "Damn, that dude is a good writer."
Yeah.
You can't tell.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he's Clark Kenting you.
And I got to give it to him. Honestly, that's a very gutsy thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you've reached that level of fame and adoration,
Yeah.
to say, what, am I good or am I Stephen King?
And
Yeah.
you got to respect that.
And to give it a shot.
And there's, hold on, because there's something about that he said too.
Oh God.
But yeah, and he said that the guy whose picture they used said that family and friends were calling him and being like, "This dude looks just like you." But it was over. The cat was out of the bag at that point, and he said that Thinner had sold 25,000, and when it was not Richard Bachman's Thinner, Stephen King's Thinner sold 250,000.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, that kind of,
Yeah.
It was a fun experiment.
it was a
Yeah.
fun experiment while it lasted. I'm like, dude, shut up. Just read and mind your own business.
You went to the Library of Congress?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Get a life.
Dude.
Did you get a hold of the nerd?
I mean,
Pardon me?
he was trying to defend
He
Stephen
was.
King.
He was.
In all honesty, that's the biggest fan.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Oh,
yeah.
Cool, yeah.
And then I read that he was working on Misery when all this happened. Misery was going to be a Bachman book. And he was like, yeah, it's over. So it's,
He's like, I'm going to put this guy in a book.
yeah.
what was your name? But
Danny Wilkes?
Yeah.
I bet. So they were talking about making this into a movie all the way back when, and it's funny because we just did Cat's Eye and that kind of led us into Maximum Overdrive, and it was during Maximum Overdrive that Dino De Laurentiis was talking about doing this, and attached to direct was Sam Raimi.
No shit.
This? Okay.
And he turned it down to do Evil Dead 2.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
glad.
you can't fault him for that.
Well,
No.
I
No,
can't,
yeah.
but I still feel like what movie would that have been?
Better.
Hey, hold on, because I got to tell you what this director did. You don't want to eat
yeah.
your words in a
Oh,
second.
it's okay. We all do bad stuff.
And words are delicious. I don't know.
Yeah.
So afterwards, it went to Tom Holland, who did Fright Night and Child's Play.
Okay. Those are both good movies.
They are.
He also did the Langoliers,
He did the Langoliers, yes.
which I don't know about that.
Have you not seen that?
I've not seen that.
I've seen
I have.
clips from it. Yeah.
Is it?
So,
Well,
go
It's
on.
not Child's Play.
okay.
Yeah, at all.
No.
But he did the screenplay with Michael McDowell, who I was doing a deep dive on his IMDb and was just beyond impressed. He, first of all, we'll get this out of the way. He did the novelization for Clue.
Okay.
Very exciting. He did work on The Nightmare Before Christmas,
Oh, all right.
Beetlejuice,
Hell yeah.
Tales from the Dark Side,
Very nice.
Tales from the Crypt,
Damn.
Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
Jeez.
I was very blown away.
No, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes.
That's a great little list.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember us talking about him on episode 6
That's wild.
and
Yeah.
kind of being blown away by all of his credits.
That shows that how
Jeez.
much I listen to what we say. Because I was like,
That
what?
was a long time ago.
I've never
Yeah.
heard of this man in my life.
It's because I said it. It doesn't register.
Shut up. But no, they worked on the screenplay, but I read that it was rewritten over 10 times to get the green light to move
damn.
forward.
See, and that makes sense to me because I like his style of writing.
Yeah.
And I like his humor, and I feel like there's some of like lacking here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was chopped up a lot.
It makes more
like
sense.
a lot. And then
Jeez.
even after it was approved, like we were saying earlier, a lot of it had to be changed. So I mean, it's kind of a bummer. It's one of those instances where it's like, just let them cook. Let's see what they come up with. And they were robbed of that. So it's a bummer. But
Yeah.
there was a lot of pressure from the producers. I did read an instance where Tom Holland had come down with Bell's palsy. And
Damn.
they insisted that he stay and finish what they were doing. So because he took so long to get to a doctor, it took him 1.5 years to recover.
Oh my
Jesus.
God.
So yeah, I mean, just shit like that where it's like, what was going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's speechless.
I'm just flabbergasted.
Yeah. Holy shit.
But I mean, but eventually we got this,
Oh, well.
Right now, we're here.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, before we curse this film, we would like to show a warning for spoilers. Podmortem is a very in-depth podcast, and in thoroughly discussing horror films, we have no choice but to spoil a thing or two. If you don't wish to be spoiled, please go watch the film, then come back and enjoy the show. If you've already seen the film or don't care about spoilers, then let's weigh in. The film opens with the shot of a vehicle driving toward us through a thick fog. There's tense music playing as the credits and title card appear and the car comes closer. Once it does, we see that it's followed by several more. The convoy makes its way down the road, not bothering to stop at a stop sign until they enter the town of Fairview, which is a little funny because that's the name of the town where Desperate Housewives takes place. But
So funny for you.
yeah. Funny for only me. But the music mounts as they go past a house that we will learn belongs to the Halleck family.
So I did want to talk about this little intro, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I really loved the cars.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the procession and the fog and the music.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to see who did the music, and I saw that the music was done by Daniel Licht, who did most of the music for Dexter.
Oh, okay,
Ooh.
okay.
I was like, I know I've seen that name on credits a lot.
Like a lot, yeah. But he does a great job here.
Yeah.
Inside, standing at his bedroom window, Billy Halleck, played by Robert John Burke, marvels at the caravan passing his house. He heads downstairs and stands outside the bathroom, eyeing the scale inside. He steps in and closes the door before removing his shoes, watch, and money clip.
I did want to point out that in his money clip is a $50 bill. Who is carrying this? I talk
of
about it.
people.
I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't either. I hate 50s.
Yeah.
I probably a talk mortem conversation, but we have had this conversation. I know we have.
Quite often.
Yeah. But he steps on the scale and lets out a long sigh when it settles at 300 pounds.
So I did want to talk about the makeup and the bodysuits that were designed for this film.
Mm-hmm.
The makeup was headed by a guy called Greg Canham, who I think at the time of this film had already won 2 Academy Awards,
Oh, wow.
but he would go on to win 4 total. At this point, he had recently worked on and won the Academy Award for Bram Stoker's Dracula
Oh,
Okay.
and Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, very
Hell
nice.
yeah.
So, and this, you can see the overlap.
Right.
But it was very interesting on this featurette. He was talking about working at his studio in Los Angeles
Mm-hmm.
and then having to ship everything to Maine, which is where they filmed this. And so he's working on things in his studio and he FedExes them to the set, gets on a plane, and then meets his things there.
Is he trying to beat him there?
Yeah. He's like, it was a
"And
race
go."
every day.
Yeah.
But he had, I think it was about 20 people working on sculptings and working on all of these different aspects of these makeups.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert John Burke, he would sit in a chair at the beginning of every day. Tom Holland on commentary said they would lose half a day to make up every day.
I bet.
Damn.
And it's wild when you think of it like that.
Yeah.
Especially for a production schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and there's another character who sat in the makeup chair for a very long time that I didn't even realize was makeup until I was an adult.
Yeah.
I was like, no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that just proves how good the makeup is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, stop talking shit about this makeup, people on the internet.
But
They worked really hard.
they did. They did, I think, in this scene, he's wearing a bodysuit. In another scene, he's wearing up to 60 pounds of makeup.
Ooh.
But the bodysuits were designed by a woman called Linda Notaro. She would go on to work on Hannibal, Blade, and The Dark Knight.
Oh,
Oh,
very
shit.
nice.
And she also worked on Mrs. Doubtfire.
Hell yeah. That's what matters.
Yes. But most importantly.
But I think they said they created 12 different suits, and they all each had these packets at the front that you could switch out different weights so that you could change, not to give a lot away.
Well, yeah.
No, yeah.
But say a size 52 to a size 50.
Yeah.
You don't need a different suit. You need
Right.
just a
right.
slight modification.
Yeah.
I really appreciate how smart that is, because that's one of my favorite things about the makeup in this is how gradual things
Yeah.
No,
happen.
yeah.
Love that.
We can't.
Don't look at the title of the film.
No. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it did provide for those smooth transitions.
Yeah.
And when you're thinking about carrying all this weight in a suit around, they put cooling systems throughout the suit.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah.
Because I have a weighted vest that I used to work out, and that motherfucker is heavy.
Yeah.
I can't imagine this dude doing that.
Burke.
And then the whole time on set, sweating his fucking ass off.
Yes.
And then having to act?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no.
And that it's positive and negative for me with this.
Yeah.
Because Burke said it was obviously difficult. He said it was like walking around with like a sleeping bag like tight around you. Because it's like constricting.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it also limited his facial movements.
Yeah.
And so he said that he had to act and show facial expressions like 90% more.
Okay.
And
so that they come through.
Yeah.
Exactly, through the makeup. And so there's a scene already when it starts and he sees the number on the scale, his face, it almost gives a cartoony reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he has to overact to compensate for the makeup.
Well, I
Right,
felt
right.
like that was played
Damn.
for humor.
Yeah, but it's...
Because he's like, whew.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because again, I mean, I don't know. The 90s were wild. The
They
80s
were.
too, when this was written with the fat phobia and whatnot. It's it comes through in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
pretty blatant.
egregious. But Billy goes into the kitchen and looks woefully at the smoothie being prepared by his wife, Heidi Halleck, played by Lucinda Jenny. Now, I was looking at Lucinda Jenny's IMDb literally, I don't know, half an hour before we sat down to record. And I was very surprised to learn that since Valentine's Day of 2017, she has been married to Bill Moseley.
No shit.
Otis Driftwood
Yeah.
himself. I'm stuttering. I'm so surprised.
Driftwood.
Driftwood. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And that
That's
is
cool.
Valentine's Day is very, very beautiful.
It
Yeah.
is. Thank you for the.
It's sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was wild. But Billy asks if he really has to drink it, and she firmly tells him yes, pouring the smoothie from the blender and into a glass before handing it over. She heads over to her state-of-the-art computer on the counter and asks for his weight. He gives her a little fib, saying that he's at 297, and Heidi reacts with disappointment, reminding him that he was at 297 last week.
I think that was one of the computers that helped with the moon landing.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
like, holy
what the
shit.
fuck?
It
Where'd
takes
you
up
get
the
that?
whole kitchen wall.
It's just smoke spewing from it.
She's like, 290 what?
Papers printing out incessantly.
But eyeing his smoothie with disdain, Billy says that it takes time for these diets to work. He takes a drink and grimaces, asking what she's doing to him. Their daughter, Linda Halleck, played by Bethany Joy Lenz, comes in, wearing headphones and bidding them good morning. Heidi takes her daughter's headphones off to reply that she's only doing what he wanted her to do in the backseat of his dad's car, proving her love. Now, you could have left the headphones on before
Yeah,
you're
before
like,
you said
remember when
that."
you were trying to get me to fuck back
Yeah.
then? It's like, you know, Heidi.
Yeah, say it, then take them
And then take the
then take
headphones.
'em
I
off.
promise you, Linda does not want to hear that.
No.
I don't want to hear that. Nay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm going to reel it in because it gets worse.
pick your spots.
I'll wait.
You know what I'm gonna say. This little girl looks not like any one of these parents
She doesn't.
at all.
But, you know.
But I know I've said it before. I for some reason cannot understand why you don't try to make these kids look like the actors that you're having them play their parents.
Because sometimes, like, it's spot on.
No,
and other times it's just like, all right.
No, it's like, oh, you did a great job. I see why. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're perfect. But it kind of takes me out of believing what I'm seeing when that's going on there.
Right.
Well, for the lack of character development, she's probably adopted.
She could, for all we know.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows?
That's true. We really get nothing.
No.
Like, a little bit later on, but still, she's very much in the background. And when
Yeah.
shit starts to get hairy, they're like, we got to get Linda out of here.
Yeah. On the cool.
So, yeah, you know.
You know, she gets the like sitcom kid away at
Yes.
away at college treatment.
Yeah.
Like-
Or when it's like, we only have kids when it's important to the plot.
Yes.
Like Wilbur and Nip Tuck.
Oh my god.
Because so many times I was like, where's Wilbur right now?
Who is watching?
He's
Wilbur?
somewhere.
Where's Annie? What is going on? But putting her feet on the table, Linda asks her father if he's going to New Haven to get Mr. Mafia off today. pushing her daughter's feet off of the table. Heidi tells her not to call him that because it's bad enough that Billy is defending him. Doing her best Brando impression, Linda remarks that this is not justice, but Billy counters that if she keeps it up, he's going to take her video card away. It's like, oh shit, he's not fucking playing.
Yeah.
So is this video card like Blockbuster?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not. He's not gonna tear apart her computer. It's like, I'm gonna wreck that giant laptop upstairs. I will say, first of all, the Brando impressions are very funny.
Yeah.
But
They're all right.
I thought they were cute.
and it kind of sells a little bit of their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But I did realize just now, even through the joking in your perverted thing that you said, the backseat of the father's car bit,
Yeah.
foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good catch.
All right. Yeah.
that was
I didn't
good.
even think about that.
Thanks, guys.
But Linda calls his bluff about the video card, and Billy invites her to try him, giving his best Brando impression. Heidi is not amused by any of this, but says that she's glad they find it so funny. Billy says that he wouldn't have taken on the case at all if he wasn't completely convinced of the defendant's innocence. Heidi half-heartedly accepts this, but the morning is interrupted with the honking of a horn outside. Linda stops drinking from her full glass of juice and gives one more Brando impression to her father before kissing him and telling him goodbye.
I know this is one of your biggest
It
pet
fucking
peeves,
it pisses me off.
just of all time.
Yeah.
This ungrateful children at breakfast.
Yeah. She prepares the meal. We take a bite of the corner of toast and then, gotta go, Mom. It's like, no, sit your fucking ass down. Like, it drives me nuts. But Billy looks over at Heidi as he tries to choke down more of his smoothie. We cut to Billy in the middle of court, calling someone named Max Duganfield to the stand. The prosecutor, played by Time Winters, immediately objects to this on the grounds that the defendant is charged with putting a hit on Max Duganfield. Judge Phillips, played by Howard Erskine, asks Billy if he's absolutely sure he wants him to testify, and Billy doubles down that if Max Duganfield truly feels that his client paid $40,000 to have him killed, he wants to hear him say it in open court.
I just want to say very quickly, first of all, what a cool name Time Winters is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
No.
That's really cool.
Incredible.
I did hear on commentary that this was filmed in a real courthouse in Maine.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
They were talking, I guess, apparently this is one of the places that Teddy Roosevelt campaigned.
What the fuck?
So they went through a lot of history and stuff whenever they were there. So it's pretty cool.
Oh,
That is
yeah.
cool. We see Billy's client, Richie Ginelli, a.k.a. Mr. Mafia, a.k.a. Fat Tony, played by Joe Mantegna, watching pensively. This is going to sound stupid. I already know that before I say it, but he sounds just like himself. Like, he doesn't change his voice at all to do Fat Tony. And so it made me happy just hearing him talk.
Did you think he was Fat Tony?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, the Simpsons are here?
Holy shit, all of them.
Wait, Springfield's in Maine?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
No, but he literally, that was the only note that I had. I was like, he sounds exactly like Fat Tony.
Yeah.
No change.
Because it's like, sometimes people change their voices, but
Right,
that's
right.
just him talking.
I do love him on there, but I know him from so much everything else.
I was like, it's Fat Tony. And John Paul was like, it was in other things, right? I'm like, yeah, I know, but he's Fat Tony.
Well, he's in Airheads. He's in Searching for Bobby Fischer, Baby's Day Out. Like,
Not Baby's Day Out.
He did do other stuff, but he's great as Fat Tony.
Yeah,
Oh,
but,
yeah.
but most importantly, it's Fat Tony.
It's leading the pack.
Yeah. Anyway, the judge calls Max Duganfield to the stand, and the sentiment is echoed by the bailiff, played by Terrence Garmy. Ginelli quietly asks Billy what the hell he's doing, but Billy reminds him about a detective agency that he mentioned earlier. Ginelli starts to catch on, and Billy confirms that he's pulling his ass out of the fire.
I just want to say, I'm sure as a defense attorney, the best course of action is to shock your client with.
Yeah. What the fuck are you doing?
In the middle of court.
Gotta give him the old razzle dazzle. Max Duganfield, played by Jeffrey Ware, is sworn in by the court clerk, played by Randy Jurgensen, and takes a seat after swearing to God to tell the truth and stating his name for the record. Billy begins his examination by asking if there is anyone else who would want to take him out. He asks if there's ever been a price on his head before this situation. Duganfield starts to admit that something happened 3 years ago, but Billy interrupts him before he can finish his sentence, asking who put a hit on him 3 years ago. You really shouldn't be interrupting. I'm surprised the judge allowed this.
Well, I'm not.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm surprised. No, but the prosecutor is like, hold on.
Well, he's like, there goes my whole case.
Yeah.
He's crying right now. He's not even paying attention.
The prosecutor immediately jumps to his feet with an objection, but the judge overrules it. Duganfield answers with a chuckle that it was his wife because she got feisty this one time. Maybe it was PMS. You know how they get. I was like, oh, just keep digging that hole.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The jury's like, fuck this guy.
Yeah. Fuck you.
I want him dead.
Yeah. Who do I call? But Janelli is literally laughing at his table as the jury reacts poorly to Duganfield. But Duganfield continues that there was a matter of some money. The prosecutor tries to get the judge's attention, but it's too late. Duganfield closes up by nodding that now that his wife has gone through the change, everything is beautiful.
Is this really where it ends? Like, isn't that a weird way
That's the end of the case.
Yeah.
The judge is like, get the fuck out of here.
Clean that seat. Fucking scumbag.
We immediately cut to a boat where Billy is being given a hero's feast, served by Mama Janelli, played by Antoinette Schwartzberg. Janelli thanks his mother as she walks away before offering a sincere thank you to Billy. They clink glasses, and Billy says that he was only doing his job, but Janelli disagrees. He says that he owes him one. He sits next to Billy and says that he knows he had to lobby to even take this case, and he promises that even after he's done paying Billy's firm a fortune, he's still going to owe him big time. He smacks a big kiss on Billy's cheek.
See how happy he is? That's happiness.
We've all talked about your childhood dream to be a cricket lawyer.
I was like, I
so
shed
this
a tear.
did make me.
Oh yeah, I was
this
like,
did make me
fuck.
think of you.
It's like you did good. It's like, yeah.
That was seriously the purest smile I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah. Oh
really
man.
I did have a couple notes on this scene. One for the actor, because every single time he eats in this film, he eats so much.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine the difficulty being an actor and having to do this for X number of takes.
Yeah.
I bet he had a bucket.
Ugh.
A lot of actors do.
They
Like
do.
under him?
Well, he's like, send it through.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
You don't see him from the waist down.
He's like Brando. He's like, don't film.
Yeah.
Speaking of Brando.
Look away.
I can't do it if you're watching. But the other thing was that he kisses him on the cheek and he goes, manja, to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the subtitle said, come on.
Oh
Like,
my
he
God.
Yeah.
He didn't say that. And they'd been doing so well with the Italian.
Yeah. HBO, call me. We'll fix this.
It's just going to be a weekly thing.
Yeah. It is me just trying to get captioning work. No, but I'm glad that you brought that up because that's something I bring up in a minute is again with this like, I don't know, fat phobic rhetoric. I know that we are presenting Billy as a certain dude who has certain compulsions when it comes to food, but he's eating in every single scene before the plot kind of takes over. And it's like gratuitous. I was like, come on, like it's a lot.
It is, and
Yeah.
I know it's all a matter of what they're trying to present.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's a
like,
lot.
Jesus. But Billy returns back to work to find that the caravan has set up a fair across the street from his office. Gabe Lemke, played by Terrence Cava, is twirling fire and inviting people to come watch. Gina Lemke, played by Kari Wurr, hits a bullseye on a target with her slingshot and screams in celebration. Gabe blows a stream of fire up into the sky as Billy gets out of his car, clutching a nearly empty bag of Doritos. Again, he just left this hero's feast.
Yeah.
He's eating Doritos in the car.
It was surprising to me that they went with this design for the bag of Doritos in the 90s.
I was like, oh my God.
The fair looked great though.
It did.
That
Yeah.
looks fun.
It looked really fun.
Yeah.
I know they're probably breaking the law, but just let them do it.
Yeah.
I know.
They're not. The kids were having fun.
Yeah.
She was
Everybody
teaching the
was
kids how
there.
to slingshot. I mean, everybody was happy.
Yeah.
Except one fucking pretty racist piece of shit
Yeah.
that walks up in a little bit.
Dude, he won't shut
I
up.
was like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Take him away.
Yeah. No.
Slap the cuffs on this asshole.
But with a smile, Billy looks over at the festivities, specifically at Gina, who is helping a child line up their shot with the target. A woman, played by Adriana Delphine, hands him a flyer advertising the fair. As he chews on his chips, she invites him to try the best since he's already tried the rest. Billy smiles at her as she walks off and looks back over at Gina, who squeals after hitting another bullseye. She invites everyone to come and watch, boasting that it's so much fun, but Billy has to head into the building. Inside, he climbs the stairs, and when he arrives on his office floor, he is breathing heavily. Billy's secretary, played by Ruth Miller, applauds him for making it and tells him that people are coming this afternoon to fix the elevator. She hands him his mail, congratulating him for making the news. Kurt Pinchley, played by Walter Bobby, makes his way over, congratulating Billy again on winning and revealing that he didn't think it was possible. Billy snidely tells him that without faith, good deeds are dead. He is still struggling to breathe from his trip up the stairs, and Kirk advises him to lose a few pounds.
I was a little shocked at his candidness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
he gets this constantly.
he does. All of his colleagues are dicks, dude.
I'm like, what the fuck?
I mean, they do help him out pretty big later.
Yeah,
when the chips are down, they show up.
It's like, we're going to make fun of you constantly, but when you need me.
But when you really need us. But he pushes Billy toward a window, asking if he's looked across the street this morning. He pulls open the slats in the blinds to reveal Gina across the street. Kirk describes her as a piece of ass and asks if Billy saw her. Billy asks how he could miss her. Kirk tells Billy to give Gina a quarter and tell her to raise her skirt. And Billy asks if Kirk's prick ever left the 6th grade. And Kirk is like, well, I hope not. I was like, what does that mean?
What
does that mean?
I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's not giving what you think it is. But Gina turns and looks in their direction, and Kirk freezes. Billy teases him, asking if he's worried that she heard him. Abruptly, he tells Kirk that he's taking the rest of the afternoon off. I was like, oh, okay.
That was a big case.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she heard you. I'm going to go.
Yeah. Bye.
You can deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He tells Kirk to wish him a good afternoon, and Kirk obeys. Billy starts to leave, and Kirk stops him, reminding him to not forget about the club tonight. Billy waves this off and eats some more snacks on his way out. Alone now, Kirk returns to the window. Billy steps back out onto the street to immediately be approached by Judge Carrie Rossington, played by John Horton. And John Horton also played a judge in Shawshank Redemption.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah,
Nice.
I was like, oh shit. But Rossington is complaining, looking at some cops confronting Gabe and the other participants of the fair across the street. He wants to know what's taking them so long to get them out of there. Billy is not concerned, changing the subject to thank the judge for turning him on to the detective agency because they helped win the case this morning. Judge Rossington is concerned, though, saying that they've been invaded by the group across the street, even going so far as to call them filthy and thieving. Billy disagrees, though, offering that they bring a little fun with them, but the judge doubles down, saying that all they bring is disease, crime, and sex, asking what kind of fun is that?
Man, shut your old bitch ass up. Get out of here, dude. What's
I was
wrong
like,
with
this
you?
dude is so, like, he's just,
Yeah,
rah.
it's
I mean,
like,
just like
goddamn.
on main, like not even,
Yeah.
I was appalled.
It's wild.
Yeah. But Billy spots an older man with long hair helping an elderly lady, Suzanne Lemke, played by Irma St. Paul, into the car. This is Tadzu Lemke, played by Michael Constantine. Rossington identifies him as their chief. Chief Duncan Hopley, played by Daniel Von Bargen, runs over.
Every time I watch this film, I forget Kay Uger.
Yes.
Like, and he's great.
Oh,
He
yeah.
really is. And we talked in the faculty about how much we like him.
Yeah. He's a pretty underrated character actor.
Yeah, he was in RoboCop 3. He's another person who does stuff. He was in Super Troopers. He was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And Malcolm in the Middle.
Yes.
Yes, he was. He was so funny.
I just, for some reason, every time I watch it, I'm surprised to see him.
Yeah.
My childhood brain always casts John Lithgow in this role.
Okay, see, for me, John Lithgow was Billy.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why when I was younger, I thought that's who it was. And then when I got older and I watched it and I was like, oh, no, that's not him.
the fact that y'all both thought y'all both wrongly thought that John Lithgow was in this and thought he was different people is a little, because when you said that my mouth kind of dropped, because he was like, I remember John Lithgow being in this. He said that the other day.
That's wild.
Yeah.
You know, honestly,
That is so fucking weird.
it would have been crazy if you're like, well, I looked it up and he was supposed to play both roles.
Yeah.
They were going to be twins. But Rossington praises that they're finally leaving and comments, good riddance, but Hopley says not quite. They've rented land out at someone named Lars Ancaster's farm. Billy reminds Rossington that he can't drive them off of private property, but the judge asserts that he can, alleging that the high school football team will all come down with an STI and there will be dog fights since that's how they make their money. The next thing I wrote is, judge is racist.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I was like,
dude.
what the fuck?
Don't you have work to do?
Yeah, no shit.
Apparently. Don't you have shit to cover up, Judge? But he walks away with Hopley, still ranting and raving. Billy just smiles as he sees Gina loading furniture up into a vehicle. He opens his car door, but stops to look back at her once more. She makes eye contact with him and smiles, seductively opening her vest to pull a quarter out of her bra. I would be like, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I just want to point out that his reaction to this makes me bust out laughing every single time.
Yeah.
Because he sees her do this and then she's seductively leaning down and he kind of looks around like, yeah, nice day we're having.
Right, me? Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
what?
It's like, dude, this is crazy. This is exactly what you were talking about. He's like, yes, ma'am. I don't understand why you're doing this, but it's like, dude, it was the last conversation you had.
Yeah.
Before the racist one.
But finally, she waves it at him playfully, and Billy looks sheepishly up at the window where he had watched her with Kirk, a look of embarrassment finally hitting his face. Gina dances as she raises her skirt, exposing her underwear. As she drops it back down, she offers him a smile and a cheeky wink. This is the part that made me laugh because Billy's like, nah. Like,
Yeah.
he smiles back at her like, right?
He's like, still got it.
But Gina's face quickly changes into a look of anger as she offers him her middle finger abruptly and spits at him. The smile drops from Billy's face and Gina walks away, closing up the back of the van and glancing at him one more time with disgust. I'd be like, no, it was Kirk pinching. I didn't say that.
I don't think that's a good sign, bro.
No.
Here's the thing for me. There's two things, actually. The first one is that from here on out, I'm terrified because that's a clear demonstration of a supernatural ability.
Yeah.
Like, you had no way of hearing any of that.
Yeah, there's no way.
At all.
Yeah.
That's number one. But number two is that I would think, as a viewer of this film, that from this point forward, Gina's going to demonstrate some supernatural abilities.
Right.
There comes a point in the film that I'm like, this is egregious. How much she doesn't know.
Yeah.
It's upsetting.
Yeah.
But we'll get there.
Yeah, all right. That night, Billy sits at a restaurant with Heidi, Kirk, and Kirk's wife, who I could not find a credit for. Kirk proposes a toast to Dunbarton Investigative Services, and everyone raises their glasses except for Billy, who is busy eating. He finally raises his and adds, "To winning, may it ever be so sweet." They clink glasses and drink, but Billy is quickly distracted and his eyes grow wide as the dessert cart rolls by.
Okay, the desserts looked great.
They did look great.
Yeah.
I think I was just getting offended at the way that he was just like this food obsessed, like crazed. It's like, okay, we get it.
Every scene.
Yes.
I say let him celebrate because Heidi's like, well, hey!
Yeah.
He turns toward it, Kirk steadily telling him no, and Heidi finally puts her foot down, saying that she's getting him out of here before he explodes, which I feel like is a really mean thing to say about your partner in front of their friends. But
Yeah. Maybe it's a Monty Python reference.
But everyone stands and they start to head out, Billy taking one more taste of food on his plate as he goes. We cut to Billy and Heidi in the car, leaving. Heidi warns him that he needs to stop eating like that, saying that he's digging his grave with a spoon and a fork. Billy scoffs, but Heidi reiterates that she loves him. She cuddles up to him as he's driving and repeats that she loves him, otherwise she'd just keep her mouth shut. Billy admits that he can't help himself because all he thinks about is food. But Heidi offers to help him think about something else as her hand reaches down between his legs. Billy is surprised by this, but not upset. And as Heidi lowers her head, she asks if he's still thinking about food. I was like, Heidi.
This is very dangerous.
No,
Please, please.
Keep both eyes on the road.
Yes.
Pod Mortem PSA.
Yes.
And it is very important to point out because he's not like Heidi.
Yeah.
I'm currently operating more vehicle.
Heidi, this is incredibly dangerous.
My eyes, I need to be at 10 and 2, not midnight. So I just, it's important.
But we abruptly cut to a pharmacy where the pharmacist, Mr. Bangor, played by Stephen King, turns to greet Limke and Suzanne. Yes, his name is Mr. Bangor.
I think it's a title he officially won.
Yeah.
It made me laugh, of course, to see him here.
Yeah.
And it's not the only time we see him,
Yeah.
which was pretty cool.
You're right. Limke presents Bangor with a crumpled prescription, saying that he needs it filled for his nose. He points at the angry rash on the side of his nose, and Bangor peers at it with curiosity before Limke snaps at him, asking what he's looking at. The pharmacist gets back to work. Now I think it's supposed to be cancer on his nose. I think that's what it was in the book. But regardless, whatever it is, and it does look pretty angry and inflamed, he did not need to be like, oh shit.
Yeah,
like he's looking at him like, fuck.
He did.
You're a professional.
And you're the pharmacist. You're not the
Yeah, no shit.
dermatologist.
Yeah.
dude.
Just go get my medicine.
Yes, go about your business. But back in the car, Heidi is still doing her best to convince Billy that there is more to life than food. When she takes a break to tell him this, he pleads with her to continue.
Mm-hmm.
Another important.
It is important.
It is important.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
This distinction.
Yeah. But he is still driving as she goes back to giving him the old thinner.
Oh, wow. I do want to point out on commentary, they had said that Tom Holland was like, they made us cut this down by a lot.
God
What
damn,
did
how
you
much? Yeah, I know. What the fuck?
I was like, there's a
there was
lot.
a whole sex scene. They were,
We flashed back to it like 3
I
times.
know. What
Yeah. And you see quite a bit happening. I don't know.
Oh, no, yeah.
But he
That's
said
hilarious.
he said a lot of different parties pressured us to. I was like, he's like, because I would have
Yeah. God
I would have
damn.
shown everything. It's like, oh my God, Mr. Holland.
Yeah.
Back at the pharmacy, the elderly Suzanne calls Limke Papa and tells him that it's cold and she's going to get her coat. He waves her away and she heads outside. As Bangor fills Limke's prescription, he happens to see through the mirror that Gina and Gabe are in the aisles just blatantly stealing.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, they weren't even trying to hide it.
In full sight of
Yeah. Back in the car, Billy is getting straight domed out. He loses his focus on driving. Sorry.
Well, man, how could you pay attention?
He looked very upset.
It was just unnecessary.
He was.
He
No,
was,
he
but
was.
You don't have to, you know.
He was.
Was.
I will say, because I forgot to mention it earlier, whenever he was asking her to he was asking her to continue, he goes, please, please, please.
Well,
And I laughed so hard.
Yeah. Let's remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is important. It's important.
It's important. Suzanne starts to cross the street, but Billy does not even notice. At the very last minute, he sees her and slams on his brakes. This draws Limke's attention from inside the pharmacy, and we see Suzanne's screaming face, illuminated by the headlights as Billy hits her with his car.
I did not remember at all this being the cause of the accident.
Yeah, this is wild. I think in the book it was a hand job.
oh, okay. Well.
It's like, you were that? It's like, I can't believe this.
This is a little more distracting.
I just... All right, folks. Let's get this back on the rails.
But yeah, the fact that this was the cause, because I think it would have been very easy they were celebrating.
Yeah.
Billy could have had a couple drinks.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
And that would
Yeah.
have been even more egregious to a couple things that happened later on.
Right.
That we'll get to in a second. But the fact that It's like, no, it was this.
Oh, yeah.
He was stone cold sober.
Yeah. It's just his inability to multitask.
This is really Billy's
He's
fault.
like, this really only works for me if I keep my eyes off the road.
Yeah, this is on Billy.
That's the only way that I can.
But Suzanne rolls over the top of the car and lands in a heap on the street, bleeding heavily from her head. Heidi, the throat goat, screams at the top of her lungs.
I mean,
You dropped your pen really loud.
because you're just this is a lot.
She was.
No, there could be more.
I feel like I held restrained because this is a whole. What is this scene?
I don't know.
I did the best I could.
I mean, my God.
I am gonna get another email, but
Oh yeah.
she screams at the top of her lungs. The throat goat does. Billy buries his head in his hands as the wipers paint the windshield with Suzanne's blood. We cut to the Halleck family sitting down at breakfast. Heidi serves Linda a plate of food and Billy stares into nothing. Linda asks how Billy was able to get a trial so quickly, but he corrects her that this isn't a trial. It's a coroner's inquest, which is much simpler. Linda's like, it was an accident, right? She asks what's the worst that can happen to him, but Heidi chimes in cheerfully that nothing is going to happen to her father because he didn't do anything wrong. The lack of guilt that Heidi feels in this is a little weird to me. I'm not saying that like she's to blame or anything, but if I was, and then this happened, that's traumatizing. She's just like, nah, it's fine. He didn't mean to.
Yeah.
I always took it as her trying to make it easier for her daughter to digest what's going on.
Right.
But I mean, even later, she makes a comment where it's like, I'll point it out, but I was like, really? Like, you were there.
Yeah.
It was just a little weird. Linda asks if he's just totally going to get off. Well,
Billy's like, no, that was ruined. Oh, the case.
yeah, probably.
Absolutely.
But Billy just repeats that he didn't do anything wrong because an accident is not a crime. Linda still looks a little bothered as she sips her coffee. At the inquest, good old racist ass Judge Rossington asks Mr. Bangor if Suzanne was running when she left the pharmacy. Mr. Bangor says that he guesses she was, but quietly tells the judge that they were stealing. The judge dismisses this, asking again if Suzanne was running when she left the store, and when Mr. Bangor admits that he's not sure, Rossington's like, you can step down. I was like, well, God.
Yeah, that right away, I was like, hold on, what's going on?
You're not gonna, comply to this narrative. We don't need you. Get down. Like, that's what it felt like.
And that was something I really didn't understand
Not
as
at all.
a kid.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Because I'm like, all his friends
Yeah.
are in charge of everything.
And I feel, say what you will about the movie, but the little setup of all of them talking outside of the fair and everything, it's really smart the way that they set this up in a way that was not heavy-handed. It's not like, oh yeah, we always look out for each other or whatever. It was just like, no, we know they're friends. We saw them talking and now, oh, you're here too,
Yeah. And I will say, when the chief takes the stand, Billy literally smiles at him on his way up.
They do their secret handshake. But Chief Hopley is called up and he takes his seat. Rossington asks if Billy was traveling within the speed limit, and Hopley says that he was, citing witnesses at the scene and the skid marks from when Billy tried to stop. Rossington asks if Billy was given a breathalyzer, and Hopley reports to the judge that Billy was as sober as a judge. Rossington dismisses Hopley. Billy looks nervous in his seat, but Rossington quickly says that there is nothing to charge him with in the accident. He rules the death of Suzanne Lemke an accident and closes the hearing with the bang of his gavel.
It just feels gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
And his reaction to the sober as a judge thing was very strange to me.
He's
Yeah,
like,
I
all
thought
right.
so too.
Yeah, he's like, all right, we know.
Yeah.
I'm drunk right now.
You don't need to make a crack at me. Contempt. 30 days.
When Billy and Heidi step out of the courthouse, Billy breathes a big sigh of relief. He hands the keys to Heidi, insisting that she drive. Just before he can get into his car, Lemke approaches him. When Billy turns to him, Limke softly rubs his cheek and only says one word, thinner. Billy is struck silent, and Limke simply gets into his car, seething as he looks out the window at Billy.
He's like, probably means nothing.
Yeah. No big deal.
Yeah. No, he's like Heidi's for being so supportive. and then they hit somebody else.
Yeah. So you guys gotta
dude,
stop.
You need to wait till you get home.
Or at least park, please.
You'd be better at multitasking. I think for me, this is kind of a very important, very iconic moment in this film.
Yes.
The issue for me is that everything seems to start happening very quickly after this for Billy. So much so that it is very difficult for me to think of him not connecting dots.
Yeah.
It takes very long.
It does. I will give you that.
Okay,
It takes a bit long because he's like, what? Like, dude, think about it.
Yeah. Wasn't that weird? The weirdest thing that happened to you that day?
Yeah, that is something that I also that it just hurt the movie for me because it's like you're not that stupid, dude, to not know what's happening.
But I mean, if you think about it, if you do not believe in that, you don't subscribe to it. That's not even something that would enter your mind.
There's
maybe,
no way.
Maybe. I'm just saying, obviously, I am not that person. I'd be like, I'm doomed.
Yeah.
As soon as I got into the car, did you hear what that man said to me? I'm just sobbing. But there are some people that's not even a possibility to them.
I don't know. It just seems like everything lines up too good to not know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To not understand or even it cross your mind
it
for that long.
Yeah.
A lot of shit happens.
Even if you're just like, I think that old man predicted the future.
Yeah. Something.
At least that.
Yeah.
Because it's too much.
It is.
One word, it's the only thing that's happening.
Yeah.
Oh, and I did want to say, Limke, he's the other one that went under extensive makeup.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize until I saw some pictures of the actor, and then in the featurette, they showed all of the prosthetics that were added.
Wow.
All the wrinkles, everything.
Damn.
None of it's real.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Well, when you learn his age later, I think that he was like 60 or something.
Okay.
Late 50s, 60, something like that. And that's not what he's portraying here.
Yeah, at all.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
But they drive away. Heidi yells at Billy to get in the car, but Billy continues to look at the car traveling away from him as he touches his cheek where the old man had rubbed him. An undisclosed amount of time later, Billy sets down his bag of Doritos to get on the scale. It now reads 283. With a smile, he says, "Somebody call Richard Simmons." He heads into the kitchen and immediately snatches up a bag of Ruffles as he reports his weight to Heidi. Heidi punches it in on that state-of-the-art computer and excitedly tells him that he's lost 14 pounds in the last 7 days. So I guess this is a week later.
So look, even if, we're not going to talk about the curse, all right? If we're not going to deal with that at all, this is still alarming.
Yeah.
The rapid weight loss? Yeah.
14 pounds in 7 days is a phone call.
Yeah. Billy has already abandoned the chips in search of a snack from the fridge as Heidi congratulates him. She says that he even looks like he's lost weight, and he does.
Yeah, and this is the first example of the transitioning these suits.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's very gradual. It's very well done.
Yeah.
It is. It's very well done. She comments, though, that she hasn't seen him slow down on his eating at all. And this is when she's like, maybe it's guilt. That's what I thought was a bit weird, the way that she said it. Because I think it would, if you're like, he didn't do anything wrong. It may be more like, do you think that you feel guilty? Or is this, you know what I mean? The fact that she's just like, maybe it's guilt. I don't know. It was very weird to me.
Yeah.
You know what I think is missing is maybe a few scenes of them talking about what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you have it to where she's kind of shocked at how he's taking it all so well,
Yeah.
this is her throwing it in his face of how he's not been.
Maybe it is guilt.
Yeah. Okay.
That would have worked,
Yeah.
I think, a lot better for me because what we get is like, she's fine.
Yeah.
It was an accident. And you didn't do anything wrong. And he's like, it was an accident. I didn't do anything wrong. And everybody's like, Billy, you didn't do anything wrong. And she's like, maybe it's guilt. I'm like, wait, where is that coming from?
That's how I took it.
Yeah, I thought it was very strange.
Again, the tone.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's something nitpicky, but I was like, what the fuck, Heidi? That's weird. But when she says this, Billy's smile drops. He tells her that it hasn't affected his diet any more than it's affected hers. Now, I mean, this is Billy, he blames her.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is, I was complaining a second ago, but this is at least a smart way to be like, well, if I'm feeling it, then you should be feeling it too. Because it kind of comes to a head later.
Mm-hmm.
It does, and it's a lot.
It's misguided for sure,
I
think. But,
Because I seem to remember only one person saying, please. Maybe I'm crazy.
Yeah. But with the side eye, he grabs his golf clubs and leaves. Heidi sighs. We cut to Billy swinging his club on the golf course. He asks why he even came out here, and Dr. Mike Houston, played by Sam Freed, says it's for the exercise, which finally looks like it's doing him some good. It's like, can we stop commenting on people's bodies?
Yeah.
Like, if we could just stop doing that, that'd be really cool.
We friends or not?
Yeah, no shit.
And not even the way it's like, oh, you look great, which still, unless you know somebody very well, you probably shouldn't even do that.
Yeah.
But, finally looks like it's like, oh my God, everybody's so fucking mean.
There's no hero in this film.
No, not at
Not
all.
a one.
Yeah.
Maybe Linda. Linda didn't do anything wrong. The daughter,
that's
she didn't do anything
Yeah.
wrong. Kirk's wife, Rossington, and Rossington's wife, Lita Rossington, played by Elizabeth Franz, pulls up in carts behind them. As they get out, again, with friends like these, Kirk remarks that there's nothing like getting off on a manslaughter charge to turn a man's life around.
Yeah.
I'm getting in that cart and I'm fucking leaving.
Yeah, that.
This was a week ago.
Yes. And again, this is what makes me like, oh, you guys are pieces of shit because
Yeah.
a woman died and you're out here making fucking jokes on the golf course. Like, that is wild.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
I didn't. That's what. At first, I was like, is he telling him in like a shitty way? Like, fuck you or what? But I was like, oh no.
they're like,
he's playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, he's joking with them. I was like, no, that.
you
come
guys
on.
are all horrible people.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, now watch this drive.
Yeah.
But Billy sarcastically tells him how witty and compassionate he is. Lita says that Kirk has foot and mouth disease, and Rossington counters that an attitude like that could cost him court cases, especially if he shows up at his court. And again, I don't think that this is any kind of indignance toward him kind of making light of this woman dying. It's like, hey, I covered that up. You don't talk about that. You know, like that's fuck everyone. Kirk tells him to leave him alone or he'll give Billy $5 to run him over with the golf cart.
I just said.
Because this is so funny. This is really funny. A woman's dead. But Billy tells Kirk to give him a little kiss. He bends over and slaps his ass, telling him, right here. And he does shake his ass a little bit.
Yeah, he does.
Every time I would bring up that this is a good movie, this is what would be cited and thrown in my face.
Look, here's the deal. They love this moment so much that it's included on the picture of the booklet in the DVD of him smacking his ass like, you got to sass it. It's like, I
know.
Why would you highlight?
I don't.
I wouldn't have put it
like in the
on the
summer
DVD.
comedy of the year or whatever. It's like, what the fuck? Like, why are we doing this? This whole golf scene is wild. I don't understand a lot of it. And then the doctor's reaction to it.
Yeah. Oh. Well, before that, Lita is like, now that's comedy. She's fucking laughing her ass off.
Yeah.
Which you would think that she'd be like, God, but she's like, she's laughing. And then Mike is like, have you lost your mind?
Yeah, that's a bit of an overreaction.
Like, you can't believe what he's saying.
He didn't moon them.
No, not at all.
That would have been the reaction. And if you like seeing Lita joyful, you better absorb this scene.
Yeah, enjoy enjoy it while you can.
Because good Lord.
Yeah.
But Mike again asks if he's lost his mind, and Billy admits that that's surprisingly easy once you've lost a few pounds. I don't understand the correlation, but he drives away. Later in the locker room, Rossington calls Mike over to look at something. He shows him an inflamed and angry-looking patch of skin on his chest. Mike immediately tells him that it's just his psoriasis coming back. Rossington asks him why, prompting Mike to joke, "Why say why?" He tells him that it's probably due to stress. He just advises him to use the ointment he got last time. Draped in a towel, Billy steps onto a scale. Mike comes over and rips the towel away from him. Billy protests with a weak, "Hey," but Mike reminds him. Were you guys fucking thrilled?
Yeah.
That hay is for horses, better for cows. And I was waiting on him to comment about pigs and then fucking punch him.
I was not.
But they don't know how. But you know what? The way that they're treating Billy, I kind of wouldn't be surprised.
That's how the joke always ends.
But yeah, I could not. When he said hay is for horses,
I was like, oh my
gasped
God.
out loud.
I did want to point out that was the only instance of a body double being used in this film.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting because there's so many other shots. The one that we're about to see,
Yeah.
I'm surprised that what they did held up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild.
But instead of punching Billy in the stomach, he checks his weight on the scale, 281. Billy asks if it's even possible for him to have lost 2 pounds since this morning. But with a smirk, Mike tells him to relax and that if he keeps this up, soon he'll be able to see his balls without using a mirror. Everyone laughs at this except for Billy.
Yeah, this is concerning though.
Yeah.
Very.
Because a pound of fat, you need to burn 3,500 calories to get rid of 1 pound of fat.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you tried to do that, a pound a week, you would have to cut 500 calories out of your diet to lose that.
Good Lord.
Add 1,000 for more, you know what I mean? And keep adding it. So even if you did 2 pounds a week, that would take you 4 to 5 months to lose 40 pounds.
And he's lost 2 pounds since this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that I could think would maybe possibly happen is if he sweated a lot on the golf course and he also took a shit.
I was going to say he took a little poop. Or a big poop.
Yeah. A lot.
Yeah.
My thing is just like, again, I'm not trying to keep bringing up the fat phobia, but it's this really gross narrative of, well, as long as you're losing the weight, it's good. Like, he's like, is that is that okay? It's fine. You know, soon you'll slim down enough to bubble. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
you're a doctor.
Maybe that's part of the messaging.
I feel like there's a lot to be said for like racism, fat phobia. Like, I feel like, and I'm not trying to give too much credit to this, but that's messaging that I took from it. So I don't know if it was intended, but I was like, God damn, man.
I think that the subtext could have been a little more.
It could have been more defined. I will give you that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you know, hay is for horses.
Please don't punch me.
Yeah.
But we cut to Billy and Rossington in the showers, making sure that one small spot on his stomach is very clean. Billy sincerely thanks the judge for taking care of him. This reminds Rossington that he never told him what happened right after that. He says that he went to lunch with Lita, and when they came outside, Lemke was waiting for him. He walked up to him and touched him right on the spot on his chest that is now inflamed with the supposed psoriasis.
See, and this is, again, I understand he's, slowly putting these pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're him, if you're the judge, you're like, it's weird. And then you're talking to the doctor like, well, what do you think this is? This is exactly where he touched you.
Yeah.
Isn't that peculiar?
A little bit. And Billy, with all the information,
Yep.
you know what he said to you. You know that he touched him, and now there's something on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's touching his cheek.
He is touching
Yeah.
his cheek. His hand touching his own cheek where he was caressed by Lemke. Billy asks if he said anything. Rossington angrily asks how he should know when he was too busy worrying about whether he would catch impetigo or lice. This man is disgusting.
Yeah.
He turns off his shower and walks away, leaving Billy to touch his cheek with a look of worry on his face.
If he dies, he dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
no, yeah.
That's where we're at.
That's fine. Back at home, under week 10 of Billy's diet on the computer, on the state-of-the-art computer, Heidi enters the weight 256. She tells him that she wants him to go off of this diet. Now, what diet?
Yeah. You've seen him. You lived with him.
Yeah.
I guess the smoothies he was having, but I mean that.
He was eating Ruffles and Doritos.
No, yeah, he
yesterday
was.
morning.
Well, maybe the smoothies get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
Breakfast of champions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's responsible for the big poops. But Billy, wearing an apron and eating cookie batter off of his fingers, tells her that he already did go off of it. He slides a sheet of raw cookies into the oven, and Heidi asks when. Billy, looking slimmer than ever, says that it's been about a week. Heidi clicks over to the plummeting graph of Billy's weight loss and says that that's another 25 pounds. That is 40 pounds in 2 weeks. Billy snaps at her to make up her mind. Does she want him fat or thin? I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Well, but it's concerning.
It is
It
very
is.
concerning. But I think he does not want to face or talk about that. Heidi says she worries that sudden weight loss is a symptom of when Billy presses her, she can't bring herself to say it. Angry now, Billy realizes that he can't win. If he stayed the weight he was, he's in danger of a heart attack. If he loses it, he's got cancer. Tearfully, Heidi confesses that she ran into Mike and he wants Billy to take a few tests. When Billy has no response to this, Heidi pleads with him that if he won't do it for himself or for her, can he do it for Linda? This would piss me off because when I asked you for help, you made a joke about me finally being able to see my balls. You run into my wife and you're like, oh yeah, he needs to take a few. That would piss me off.
Yeah.
Well, he cares a little.
He cares depending on who he's talking to.
Yeah, who it is.
Well,
We cut to Mike's office where he looks over Billy's lab results and Billy sits snacking. He surmises that all the results look fine. His blood work is even better than Mike's own. He says that Billy probably hasn't been this healthy since he was banging Mary Lou Singer in high school, and Billy finds it pertinent to point out that he never actually did it with her.
now here's the thing. All right, at this point I started to notice that his performance is a little strange to me.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, because he says Mary Lou Singer or whatever, and then Billy goes, Sangster, and I never got in her pants. It's like, what the hell is going on? Why are you talking like that?
Because in the beginning of the movie, his lungs were being flattened by the fucking suit, dude. He's got to maintain the voice.
It's too much.
It did sound a little funny.
Yeah, there's some moments in court that I was like, is he doing a Clint Eastwood?
Yeah, that I did notice.
Yeah.
That I did notice too. I was like, is that supposed to be his character?
I don't
I was like,
know.
I don't.
He was in an episode of Sex and the City, and I don't remember him sounding strange at all. Like,
No?
his
That's
voice
how
did
he
not
talked?
his voice didn't stand out to me, so I don't know. I just wanted to talk about him being on Sex and the City.
Okay.
All right.
He wasn't like Carrie or whatever.
He was with Miranda.
Oh,
But
I don't
no.
know. Okay.
Yeah, whichever one that is.
I was a little upset that I was wrong.
Fuck you.
I don't care at all.
But back to the movie that we're covering. Billy asks Mike if he's sure that he's down to 240 pounds. Mike tells Billy to just relax. His weight will stabilize and he'll even gain some back. He tells him again to not worry about it.
On what basis is this?
I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
On
where-
a shut up basis.
I guess.
Stop complaining. It's fine. Your blood work looks fine. Go away.
But
You know, that's what it feels like.
But even at that, even if you're a mean friend or you're whatever, from a medical view, you knew this dude 2 days ago was 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Now he's what again?
240.
240.
That's scary.
Even-
It's been 2 weeks.
Even an asshole you are, you can still be like, look, dude, that's a little concerning.
and you're
Yeah.
a
You know what
doctor.
I mean? Yeah.
And you're not gonna. I think you would try to solve the problem
Something.
instead of just being like, "Well, this looks good. Get out of here."
Yeah.
He sees him constantly eating all these excess
He's eating right
calories.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah, he was.
is.
So it's strange.
Yeah. We cut to Billy clothes shopping. The sales associate, Henry Hollowell, played by Patrick Farrelly, greets him by name in awe. He tells Billy that it looks like he's finally found a diet that works. Billy says that because of it, he needs a whole new wardrobe. Henry excitedly gets his tape measure ready and wraps it around Billy's waist. When he happily reports that he's down to a 40 or an even 38 pant size, Billy doesn't believe him. He asks to step on a scale, and when it settles on 233, he is speechless. Popping a chocolate into his mouth, Henry asks what diet he's on. Since he's tried all the others, he might as well try this one too. Billy tells him, "I don't think you'd like it, Henry. In fact, I don't think you'd like it at all.
All right, because that kid Badger down there at the end of the block, man, he's got some good stuff.
No.
But you don't want it, though. But you don't want it.
I was like, Badger.
Come on.
You know.
What's funny to me is that whenever they do scenes like this in movies, you know that he's like, no, but seriously.
No, what is it?
Yeah. They don't show it.
Yeah, we need the dramatic ending of him.
God damn it, what is it? But we immediately cut to him sucking every shred of meat off of a bone at dinner. He drops it onto his plate and immediately attacks his corn on the cob before shoveling more food onto his plate.
Did Lemke also curse him to bad table manners?
I think he did. He said, disgusting. Linda looks at him with judgment and he grunts at her to pass him a bowl of corn. He grabs more and starts eating it frantically. Linda ventures if she can ask him a question. She asks if there's a such thing as male menopause. When she starts asking about his hormones, he snaps at her, asking what she's trying to say. Linda admits that she's worried about him, and he's like, why? He says he's finally found a diet that works. Eat whatever he wants and still lose weight. As if to prove it, he throws his head back and drops more meat into his mouth and then turns to her and laughs.
Where did he get that from? It looks like he pulled it out of his pants. I was
He's like,
yeah, what the fuck?
I've been saving this.
Yeah.
For a special occasion.
Upset, Linda leaves the table and runs upstairs. Heidi comes out and clears Billy's dinner, putting a plate of pie in its place. Billy's like, what's wrong with her? like that wasn't just the wildest fucking interaction. But when Billy starts to go after her, Heidi stops him, telling him that he'll only upset her more. Billy attacks the dessert in front of him, shoving whipped cream into his mouth and even licking the side of his plate. Heidi pleads with him to slow down, asking why he's eating like that. But Billy says that he doesn't know if it's all in his head like Dr. Mikey thinks. Annoyed, Heidi says that she hates when he calls him that. Why, Heidi?
Yeah.
Why do you hate that?
Disrespectful.
Really? We're being disrespectful to Dr. Mikey?
I know. I'm not going to lie.
With the way he's behaved?
I never caught that. And then watching it now, I was like, why?
I hate when you call him that.
Yeah, why are you defending that dude?
I gotta be honest, I don't think what is happening is happening.
I go back and forth because I think that one person is very convincing later on, and I think the other one is not convincing at all. So I don't know what we're supposed to think. But Billy continues that he does know one thing. He's lost 3 pounds every day except for today. Heidi starts to say how wonderful it is that he's starting to put the weight back on, but Billy's not done talking. He says that today he skipped lunch and instead of coming home 3 pounds lighter, he was 6 pounds lighter. He sums it up that he has to eat like this because it's a race and he's losing.
That line is actually kind of frightening.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. Heidi says that he doesn't have to be so mean and treat her like it's her fault. Billy, I had to pause it because I could not fucking believe that he said this. Billy says, oh, I'm sorry. Was I giving myself a blowjob just then?
Just
then? I would mush his face with that fucking pie, and I hope you enjoyed that because that's it.
Don't ever say that to your wife or your partner or whatever. Don't boo that dude. Like, don't do that's the wrong thing to do.
It is, and this is a very specific situation.
Yeah, but don't do it.
Don't do that.
But if you ever find
having committed vehicular manslaughter
while getting doped out,
look,
and now you're cursed.
Even that. Take away the vehicular manslaughter.
It's like, you know what? You don't got to worry about it ever again. That's fine. Cross that off my list. But Heidi is appalled, telling her husband that is a horrible thing to say. She counters that she doesn't remember him complaining about it at the time, which again, T. Please.
We just see a black and white flashback.
That's why we said to remember. But Billy just continues to eat, and Heidi drops the bomb that she thinks Linda should stay with her Aunt Rhoda for a few weeks. Billy is surprised by this, but Heidi insists that she can't keep watching Billy go through this because it's tearing her apart. She asserts that she's driving Linda there tomorrow. We cut to a restaurant and scan through a table of plates that Billy has already eaten. Still, he munches on shrimp cocktail when he's approached by Mike. Mike tells him that he finally got through to the specialist, and based on the results and what Mike told them, they've ruled out the possibility of a parasite or tapeworm. Billy says what the specialist recommends, and Mike tells him that he recommends the Glassman Clinic, and they're expecting him tomorrow. He hands him the information for it, and Billy drops the shrimp to take it. Mike tells Billy that even if he doesn't want to go, he needs to do it for Heidi's sake because she's very upset. He starts to walk away, but Billy stops him. He points over at Lita, sitting alone at a table and sadly drinking a cocktail. He says that she was alone again last night and asks if Judge Rossington is sick. Mike says that he's not sick. He's just out of town because his sister was in a bad car accident. He starts to walk away, but Billy stops him again. Rossington doesn't have a sister. Mike's like, well, then it must be Lita's sister. Okay.
See, even to me, that was a little, I was like, I don't know,
What?
dude. Even if you're trying to protect their, privacy or whatever, just, hey, I can't talk about that.
Yeah.
The fact that you lied and I caught you in that lie and you don't have anything to say.
Yeah.
What else?
Something's up.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
He tells Billy that he needs to relax and tells him that he'll see him tomorrow. He finally does leave. Billy goes back to eating his shrimp, but when he turns toward the dining room, he and Lita lock eyes. In the next scene, he is knocking on the door of the Rossington home. Lita answers it coldly with a drink in her hand. Billy asks if her husband is there, and Lita quickly says that he's in Minnesota visiting relatives. She tries to close the door in his face, but Billy holds it open. He asks her boldly, what's wrong with him? He asks if he's lost weight. Lita is like, what are you talking about? Billy tells her that he's lost 100 pounds, specifying that that's spelled with a 1 and 2 zeros. Realization hits Lita, and she asks if the old man touched him. I'm vomiting on the fucking porch.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Now, his reaction to that question, I was like, you gotta be joking me.
Yeah.
Billy asks what that has to do with anything.
Billy!
That made me I was like, dude, in the shower, you even touched your face.
Yes.
So you gave us a hint that you knew what was going on. Why now all of a sudden you don't know? This never happened.
I think he's just in denial mode. I mean, I don't know.
Was the worst possible time.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is.
You finally have somebody that is, because he
Could understand.
Yeah.
Lita only starts to laugh as she invites him in. She hands him her drink, telling him that he'll need it. Laughing again, she walks further into the house, leaving Billy to close the front door. Pouring herself another drink, Lita confesses that her husband is in Minnesota, but he's not visiting relatives. He's at the Mayo Clinic. Cutting in, Billy tells her that there's no such thing as a Romani curse.
I did want to say her smile and her inviting him in this way was terrifying.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was. She tears it the fuck
Yeah.
up, this entire scene.
I literally have that she just crushed it. That's
Yeah.
all, that's
Yeah.
all I wrote for my notes. 'Cause
Yeah, she
from
does.
start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
I think they said that she was a stage actress from New York.
Okay.
And so this drama is chef's
brings
kiss.
it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lita snaps at him, asking if he's trying to convince her or himself. She says that the old man approached them when they were coming out of a restaurant. She says that Rossington was fried, searching for his keys, so he didn't even see him coming. Lita did see him and tried to warn her husband, but it was too late. She says that he touched him and then whispered something into his ear. She says Rossington pretends that he didn't hear what he said, but Lita heard. Billy asks him what he said, and Lita says, one word. She turns to Billy with horror on her face and tells him, lizard.
All right.
Okay, so I will give you that. Okay.
Yeah, that's...
So here's the thing. John Paul and I were laughing about this the other day because it's just the word lizard.
Yes.
Like, I'm not laughing at the affliction that happens because it does sound very gruesome. But the word lizard is really funny. Like, just as a word, it's just funny. Because it doesn't even align with what it would be like if Limke touched Billy and said skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what that aligns with, because that's not even like in the vein of what he did to Billy.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a personal thing. And so I was thinking more about it because John Paul and I were talking the other day and I was like, did Rossington like always dream of being a lizard when he was a child or something? But I'm thinking about it, if it's his psoriasis and that's something that really bothered him, maybe that is that Lemke obviously has a sight and he was able to zone in on that. But it would have been nice to understand that a little bit more. Obviously, Rossington and somebody else that we visit later are not our main characters. I don't need as much as we get with Billy, but I would like reasoning behind why lizard.
Well, here's the thing for me. I came to the same conclusion watching it this time, and it was because of the scene in the locker room.
Yes.
Whenever he said, your psoriasis has come back, and he goes, why?
Yeah.
He's concerned.
Yeah.
Thinking it's psoriasis.
Yeah.
So it is Lemke kind of attacking this past thing or an insecurity.
Yes.
So that I'm fine with.
Yeah.
Right.
But you don't say lizard.
It's the word lizard. It's definitely the word lizard.
Yeah, I think when we were talking, I think for me it's just that like you said, thinner. It's like, okay, that's what's happening to me. But am I really turning into a lizard?
Yeah,
or
how
am
far
I
is
like
this going?
how far? Because if I can just wait this out, you telling me I'm a dinosaur?
That'd be kind of cool.
If I can wait this out.
What kind of lizard? Like if I can survive this transformation, can I still talk?
Ooh,
as
like
this
a
lizard,
Komodo dragon.
Yeah, because they're
wow.
pretty big and
Yeah.
they're poisonous.
Yeah, those bites are fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They'll
don't
fuck
fuck
you
with
up.
them. Yeah.
So I mean,
What lizard?
yeah.
Yeah. Sir, can you be,
Right. Come back.
can you be
Hold
more
on.
specific?
A gecko. Oh, man.
Now I got to sell insurance.
You know what might have worked better is if it's kind of the use of the word because he knows that the judge lied. Why couldn't it have just been snake?
Yes.
Or even that if when he said about his psoriasis, he was like, "Oh, I'm getting all scaly now," or whatever. Just a small something to make it
equate
match
it,
with that.
yeah.
To make him even more aware.
To make it seem, that's what. Oh, lizard. Oh, scales. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
His psoriasis. Whatever. But it,
Yeah. I mean, and however hard he wanted to act or unbothered or whatever, the fact that he's pretending like he didn't hear what that man said, you're scared.
yeah.
You're
Clearly.
scared.
Yeah.
Billy's hand once again finds the ghost of the old man's touch on his own cheek as she continues. She reveals that his skin started plating and turning into scales. Stepping toward Billy and causing him to back up, she tells him that it's evolution in reverse, which I thought was a great line.
Yeah.
That is so scary. She calls her husband a sideshow freak. She says that he chartered a plane to take him to the Mayo Clinic because he couldn't bear to have people look at him. Shaking, she says that by the time he left, his hands looked like claws and his eyes were two bright little specks inside of deep hollows, like pieces of tinfoil. When she starts to describe his nose, Billy finally reaches the front door and eloquently tells her that he has to go to the Glassman Clinic because he has a metabolic disorder.
So her descriptions for me are probably one of the purest moments of horror.
Absolutely.
This works very well.
And the way
yeah.
she delivers it,
Yes.
it's fucking scary.
Okay, but saying that now about him looking like a freak show or whatever, then earlier in the film, have him make a comment about that. Or say something towards that.
Well,
then
yeah,
now
all
that's what you're turning into.
all the shit that he was talking, you really could have added something
Anything.
else to really tie it together.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And that his little diatribe in the parking lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he opens the door and Lita slams it back shut, demanding to know why he came here looking for her husband. He lies that he just wants to compare notes with him. But Lita is screaming now, demanding to know what Lemke said to him. Billy says that he didn't say anything to him, but Lita doesn't believe that. She says that she thinks all of this is Billy's fault because he was the one that hit her. He did, not her husband. Billy finally gets the door open and in the scuffle falls down the front steps. Looking up at the angry woman standing in her doorway, Billy fires back. He says that he may have been the one to write on the fence, but her husband was the one who slapped the whitewash onto it and he was happy to do it.
That has to be a line from the book.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because that's real good.
Yeah.
It's really good, right?
And why not just tell her you're cursed?
Yeah.
Just help. Let's help each other, please.
Yeah.
She's going through it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you finally have somebody who understands.
What you're going through.
Yes.
Lita throws her drink into Billy's face. She tells him to have a nice day at the Glassman. She busts out laughing again, telling him that she's heard the food is good. Billy starts to walk away, yelling out at her one more time that there is no such thing as a Romani curse. Still laughing her ass off, Lita invites him to come back in a couple weeks when he's lost another 40 or 50 pounds and tell her what he believes then. Billy gets in his car and peels off without another word as Lita continues to stand in her front yard screaming at him. A little commotion for Lita Rossington.
Yes. God damn.
Damn, dude.
Elizabeth Lands?
Yes.
Fantastic work.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. We cut to a bar where Janelli is admiring a ring on the finger of Janelli Bar Girl, played by Bridget Marks. She tells him that he gave it to her, and he's like, oh. What the fuck? But someone comes and hands him a phone with Billy on the other end. Billy, standing at a phone booth in the pouring rain, asks Janelli earnestly if he believes in Romani curses.
Is it odd that he's calling Janelli right now? It struck me as kind of surprising.
No, yeah, I did think that, but I was like, wait, he's his attorney, I guess. But I mean...
You know, again, how we could have tied this together? If they show them leaving the courthouse together because that fair was across the street. And maybe Janelli makes a comment about, oh, don't fuck with them or anything.
That would
and
work.
then he's like, oh, well, he knows about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. It's like we are meant to fill in a couple guys. And again, I'm the I'm defending this film.
Yeah.
But, you know, there could have been a little more there because I just accepted it. There is no reason for him to call Janelli right now.
No, I thought the same thing, though. I was like, why is he calling him? But that's all I could come up with was, well, he is his attorney, I guess.
Yeah.
Because he was happy with them earlier when they were on the boat eating together and all that. So I was like, maybe he did. He was like, yeah, pal, whatever, you call me whenever. But
remember how you owe me one? Tell me everything you know about curses.
See, but the thing is that it works a lot better if he calls him later.
Yeah, of course.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But to say, are you aware of the supernatural?
Yeah. What do you believe in?
It's a little odd.
But looking between the two women on either side of him, Janelli replies suggestively that he typically believes in what he can see. But his mother, that's a different story. He calls his mother over and asks her a question in Italian. She answers him the same way before pantomiming spitting at the woman he was talking to. I was like, God, it does make me laugh that whatever he's doing, his mom is just around.
Yeah, both times.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, is your mom just back there working while you're fucking off over here?
She's making food. But back on the phone, Janelli confirms that his mother believes because she saw it in the old country. She warns that whoever puts it on has to be the one to take it off, and no one else can. He finally asks Billy what this is all about, and Billy only cryptically says that he'll get back to him and gets off the phone. The next night, Heidi drives Billy and asks what happened at the Rossingtons' house the night before. Looking weak and gaunt, Billy tells her what Lita believes, that Limke put a curse on him and the judge. Heidi is in immediate disbelief, and Billy admits that he knows how it sounds, but that's what Lita thinks. He says that Rossington has skin cancer. Heidi says that not only is there no such thing as the curse, but if it were real, Limke wouldn't have just cursed him and Rossington. He would have cursed the entire town. Billy says that the whole town didn't kill his wife and try to cover it up, though. It was just him, the judge, and he is suddenly struck with silent realization. Hopley, too.
Oh, okay, but you're connecting these dots.
Yeah.
I'm listening to you.
Yeah, you're getting there.
Yeah. How do you still not believe this is real?
Yeah. He was in on the cover-up with them. Heidi cautiously tells her husband that all he has to do is check into a clinic and get better. She is fully turned to talk to him, and he has to yell to keep her from driving into a truck. If the Hallecks have not learned by now to keep their eyes on the fucking road, I don't know how you can learn that lesson better.
I was very disappointed.
Yeah.
In both
She's
of
like,
them.
what? I'm like, what the fuck? But
He wasn't even.
Yeah. You don't even have an excuse. But the truck honks and they swerve, narrowly avoiding each other. But when the car comes to a stop, Billy announces that they're here. Right outside of his window is the Glassman Clinic.
Okay, so this moment here works a lot better if we're ending up at a supernatural location.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's just like, oh, there it is.
Yeah. Oh, there's the clinic. If it was the, what's his name? Limke's house
Yeah.
that they're going towards, but it's just the clinic.
Inside, in the daytime now, Billy repeatedly tries to call Hopley until he's approached by male clinic doctor, played by Mitchell Greenberg, and female clinic doctor, played by Angela Pietro Pinto. They greet him warmly, and the man excitedly tells him that the computer synthesized his test results, and it's amazing. He's been consuming 12,000 calories a day, but he's still able to lose weight. As if on cue, the clinic waiter, played by Michael Kevin Walker, delivers him an ice cream sundae with extra whipped cream. Billy takes his treat and starts to walk away as the doctor continues that he's got some protocols to try, but they could take a week or two to work out. Billy turns on him, asking what happens when that doesn't tell him anything. The woman assures him that they'll keep trying and that they're not going to give up on him. Billy sets his sundae down on a random man's table, and when the doctor asks where he's going, he replies gravely, to get some takeout.
All right. Look, I got to admit, I thought this whole scene was weird.
It was.
It is.
Yeah, it was.
And it feels, because we don't see him check in, nothing. And it's nighttime when they magically get to the colostomy clinic.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's daytime and they're like, good news, Mr. Allen. It's kind of weird.
And you're doctors, but you're eating 12,000 calories a day.
Yeah, that's it.
You're so happy about this thing. This is terrifying.
Yeah.
It's really concerning.
You're watching him eat 12,000 calories a day and he's losing weight.
And other than that, what else do we learn?
Oh, nothing. He likes extra whipped cream.
Yeah,
he really
that's
likes
it.
But we already knew that from the pie earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I realized as a child I always said whooped cream. Like the cream got its ass kicked, but it's whipped cream. Like it got its ass whipped. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Same thing. That night, a taxi delivers Billy to Hopley's house. He knocks on the door. Wait, and it's night again. But okay.
Maybe they only had access to the clinic during the day.
Maybe. Or maybe they just added that in.
Maybe.
Yeah.
They said on commentary that the clinic scene was filmed at a mansion, so they might have only had access during the day.
Okay.
Damn. A mansion.
Okay. Yeah.
It looked nice.
Yeah. But he knocks on the door and receives no answer, even when yelling out Hopley's name and identifying himself. He says that the station told him that he was sick and he asked if he's okay. He peeks through the mail slot, telling Hopley that he knows about Rossington. He asks what happened to him. Finally, Hopley's voice responds. He tells Billy that he doesn't think he really wants to know, but he's welcome to come in. The lock clicks open on the door and Billy opens it. He steps inside and sees Hopley in a robe, walking slowly down the hall away from him. Billy closes the front door and follows, fear etched into his face. He sits across from Hopley at his desk in his office. A bottle of alcohol and a shot glass sit between them. Billy is swimming in his clothes, but Hopley's face, even in the dim light of the study, is clearly swollen and misshapen. With a wry laugh, Hopley tells Billy that now Rossington looks like he was all along. He says that that's funny. He comments that Billy finally found a diet that works. Billy says that they don't deserve this, but Hopley disagrees.
Hopley's right.
No, yeah.
He's like, we didn't do anything.
I didn't fucking do this.
I'm not worried about it.
That's been his mantra the entire film. I'm done.
He reminds Billy that he ran the old lady down. Rossington fixed it so he didn't even get points taken off his driving record, and Hopley himself ran them all out of the county. Billy insists that he's not a criminal. He wasn't even drunk, but Hopley asks how he would even know that. He didn't give him the breathalyzer like he said he did. I was like, God
Jeez.
damn. But he comments coldly that that's just how it is in Fairview, isn't it? Half of Hopley's face is swollen and covered in bumps and uneven skin. Unscrewing the cap off of his bottle, Hopley asks, what the hell? He says that the old lady was jaywalking. Billy only asserts that he wasn't drunk, but maybe something else was going on.
Dude, he didn't even have to say that. Like,
No, he didn't.
is he trying to tell his friend that he scored or
Yeah.
something? Like, what is going on?
Guess what Heidi was doing?
Maybe something else was going on. It's like, dude, you could have kept that to yourself.
Hopley asks, like what? And Billy just goes, never mind.
Yeah,
like,
you
now's
should
not
have
the
said
time.
nothing.
We'll talk later.
I can tell you're upset. Hopley takes a shot, revealing his hand to be a misshapen and bloated glove. Billy says that he wants to find the old man to convince him that they don't deserve this. Hopley asks if Billy thinks he put an old-fashioned curse on him like in shock theater, but Billy asks if it matters. He says he has things to say to Lemke and offers Hopley to come with him. In response, Hopley turns his desk lamp toward his face, revealing it to be even worse than it seemed, with the bloody patch on the side of his head.
So I was very underwhelmed by this reveal.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is because I said to myself, I was like, man, they really should have shot this with more shadow so that whenever we see this light of the lamp, it's a massive reveal.
Yeah, because you already can kind of see him.
Yeah, you can.
But I learned on commentary that the lighting that we see in this scene now on Max.
Yeah.
Why would you get rid of? Why would you get rid of HBO?
I don't know.
I don't know. But that we see on there and that we see on the DVD, it's a byproduct of them changing the brightness so that it could be shown on television.
Ah, okay.
So it was darker?
That's the thing. When Tom Holland said that they released it in theaters, all you saw was a bit of light catching his ear.
Yeah.
Man.
And so you didn't see anything.
Okay.
You see his hand when he passes the gun.
That would have been so much.
But you're like,
Yeah.
holy shit. And then whenever the light comes in, you see his full face for the first time.
Damn, so it messed everything up.
Everything. So it was better.
It was, yeah.
That's a bummer. It would have been better because you'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, yeah.
Because we just saw him, you know?
And the way that whenever he lets him inside, you only see the back of him.
Yeah.
You're like, something awful.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But then you see him sitting down. He's like, oh, well, that's what's going on.
Yeah. Billy apologizes in shock, but Hopley tells him not to be sorry. He says that Billy's is just a little slower, but he'll get there eventually. He tells Billy that he's not going anywhere. He slowly reaches into his drawer and pulls out his gun. He slides it across the table with his bloated hand and tells Billy to find him. He tells him to find him and kill him and tell him it's for me. I was like, okay, Lady Olenna, damn. But Billy says that he can't kill him. He needs him to take the curse off because he's the only one that can. I love how he heard this from Janelli an hour ago and he's just like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I don't think he's going to take it out.
No.
Yeah.
And I just want to know, what was your curse, dude? What did the old man say
what
to
did he
you?
say?
Yeah.
Disgusted with Billy, Hopley asks if he really thinks he's going to take it off. He asks if he's going to snivel up to him and say that he's sorry. He mockingly repeats Billy apologizing to the old man. Finally, he gets to his feet and tells Billy not to be stupid. He tells him to take the gun. Billy stands and tries to get away from Hopley, but Hopley continues to yell at him to take the gun. He chases Billy to the front door, insisting that he kill him because if the old man really did put a curse, he's never going to take it off, and this is the only satisfaction that Billy's going to get. Much like he did with Lita, Billy flees out of the front door. I was like, well, all these house calls are ending. He closes it behind him, and Hopley continues to scream, "Never," until Billy is stopped in his tracks by the sound of a gunshot.
So once again, we talk about great performances in this film.
Yes.
That scene was great.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. When I reflect on Thinner, these are the things that I think of. And I'm like, what are y'all talking about? 19 or 17% on Rotten Tomatoes. I forgot to look it up on break.
You got to sass it. That's what we're talking
That
about.
was 1 second, dude.
No, that was like 5 minutes of that.
Yeah, there was a lot.
It
There was
too
more
much.
than that.
Too much.
But he walks back to his house just in time to see Mike leaving and getting in his car. Inside, he takes a bunch of food out of the fridge, and we hear Heidi tell him that Mike was here and ask why he left the clinic. Looking into the corner of the room, Billy imagines Heidi and Mike passionately making out. The vision disappears.
That is too much, dude.
Yeah, I didn't understand. I was like, so is that what happened, or is that just you having, like, thinking some shit? I don't...
And why are we seeing it?
Yeah,
Because-
that's why I asked.
Because we have to know that this is what Billy is thinking happened.
No, isn't it enough what's insinuated?
Yeah, I think so.
You don't need to be like
Yeah.
remembering. I don't know. It's fucking ridiculous, dude.
Heidi has to call his name to get his attention, but he finally snaps back. She reminds him that they all care about him, and so does Linda, but Billy just says that the people at Glassman can't help him. Heidi says that if they can't help him, who can? Billy, palming a huge piece of meat and eating it with his bare hands, tells Heidi that he went to see Hopley and he tried to give him his gun, but he wouldn't take it. Heidi is glad that he didn't, but Billy says that maybe he should have. He heard a gunshot after he left, and he proposes that maybe Hopley saw a rat in the corner, but he doesn't think so. He says that Lemke cursed him too. He starts to mention his face, but Heidi yells, interrupting him, begging him not to bring up the curse again. Billy hurls the meat at her, yelling back. I couldn't believe he did that.
I thought he threw it towards the stove.
Yeah, that's what I...
But the way that it's cut is, it's like, look, we can only throw this meat once.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of money at Boston Market, so we got... Wow. Like, I don't understand.
But he yells, what the hell else could it be? He yells in her face, his mouth full of food and food on his lips. He tells her that he's not on a diet. He's been eating 12,000 calories a day and he's still losing weight. Very intensely, he tells her that he is being erased.
It's pretty cool.
I thought it was a really good line.
Clean your mouth.
Yeah.
That was nasty. It was real nasty.
Yeah, I can't even, I don't even want to be on the other end. We'd have
Yeah.
we'd have to get a stand-in to do this. I'm not going to stand there for
I'll
this.
be in my trailer.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
In the next scene, Billy and Mike are leaving Hopley's funeral. Heidi walks behind them. Quietly, Mike asks what about Glassman because they keep calling him. Billy tells him to forget Glassman, but Mike grabs him, telling him sternly that Heidi told him about the curse thing. Be like, you and Heidi talk a lot, huh?
Yeah.
Snidely, Billy says, she tells you a lot, doesn't she? He presumes that she's whispering little secrets in his ear. Heidi is right behind them watching this entire exchange.
Yeah.
She says nothing. Mike asks what that is supposed to mean, and Billy tells him that all he needs to remember is that it's not a thing. The curse is a fact. He invites him to ask Rossington. Mike says that Heidi told him about that too, so he called Lita. Lita said that Rossington has skin cancer, so they're treating him at the Mayo Clinic. Mike insists that Billy is running out of time, and Billy agrees. In 2 weeks, he won't even be able to use the bathroom by himself. Mike tells him that that's why he needs to go back to Glassman, but Billy disagrees. That's why he needs to find the Lemkes. He walks off, and Heidi immediately rushes to Mike and grabs his arm, asking if he sees what she's talking about now. And I gotta say, this is not a good look, Heidi.
No, it's very funny because he's like, whispering all the secrets in your ear, and then he gets in the car.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
No, waste no time.
Mike. But Mike agrees that he thinks he's in trouble. He grabs Heidi's arm and leans in close, whispering that Billy is being irrational, and he starts to offer her advice. But from his car, Billy sees his wife standing with Mike, their hands clasped together and talking closely. With a scowl, he peels out.
So I did want to say very quickly, where we see them coming out of the church at the beginning of the scene, It's very deceptive. I learned on commentary that they wanted to film at this church, but the church saw the content of the film and wouldn't let them.
What?
So what they did was they built a false staircase outside of the church and just filmed there.
That is hilarious.
And with the church in the background, it doesn't even matter.
Oh, yeah.
I bet that pissed them the fuck off.
Oh, I'm sure
yeah.
it did.
It's like, we won't film at your church.
Like, why are you so shifty?
Shifty eyes. At a diner, Detective Devers, played by Ed Wheeler, presents a photo of Lemke to Billy and provides him with his name. He says he's the father of the woman that Billy hit with his car. Billy is in disbelief. Father?
Mm-hmm.
Suzanne had to be 75 or 80, but Devers counters that Lemke is 106. He points at pictures of Gina and Gabe, identifying them as Lemke's great-granddaughter and her husband. Billy is still in disbelief, but Devers says that Lemke claimed to be 29 when he came to this country in 1917 and invites him to do the math himself. For some reason, after he says this, there's a random cash register sound. I know that they're at a diner, but it literally sounded like the Venmo sound.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? Because it sounds so piped in. It was hilarious to
It
me.
probably wasn't like, we don't have enough environment sound.
Yeah.
Put it in,
Press
put it
the
in.
button? Yeah, it sounded really funny. But he takes out his map, saying that he tracked them to Raintree, then Milford, then a town he's never heard of. He says they're headed up the Maine coast, but they're always at Bar Harbor at the end of the season. He suggests that Billy just wait for them there, but with his mouth full of food, Billy says that he doesn't have that much time.
I do want to say, as far as setting up characters for future introduction.
Mm-hmm.
They did a pretty good job with this private investigator.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was just a small throwaway line.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh, well, that's how he knows this guy.
Yeah.
When really, you could just show him talking to anybody. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I thought it was...
But it was an extra, yeah.
Yeah.
Billy returns home and looks angrily at the car already parked in front of his house with the vanity plate, Doc Mike.
oh, come on.
It's too much at this point.
That's a lot.
He opens the door and hears Mike tell Heidi that he has the order and all she has to do is sign it. Heidi is reluctant, but Mike assures her that it's what's best for both of them. Billy sees them in the living room, Mike holding Heidi's hands while they rest in her lap. Heidi asks if they do take legal action, what's he going to do when he finds out? Billy rounds the corner and asks, what kind of legal action? Heidi and Mike freeze and Mike takes his hands off of Heidi's legs. Here's the thing. If when I walk in a room, you have to adjust your position, you know you're doing something that you shouldn't be fucking doing.
That's my note. He sure does like to hold that other man's wife's hands.
He
a
sure
lot.
does.
But you know what I think it is I feel like it is very one-sided because she didn't move at all.
No, she didn't. She didn't. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And we talked off mic about how for me, I go back and forth on whether this is happening or not, especially things that we see later. But I did say that either he is getting in there or he's trying to get in there.
Yes.
You could say it's a million different ways.
Well, which, I mean...
You know my opinion on decorum.
That was decorum.
Very clear.
Yeah.
This is the test.
Look, all I'm saying is that he just has a guilty vibe.
Oh,
The doctor?
Yes.
Yeah, he does.
She seems to... She was being comforted, it seems. And she was showing concern at the funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. But again, my thing is this. Why are you so comfortable around this man? Why is that?
The whole thing is weird.
Even if you don't pull away to make it look like you're not doing something, like if you're doing something bad, why are you still allowing this dude to continue to hold your hands like that? Every time we see them together, he's holding her hand. It's
time. Also kind of a red flag in a monogamous relationship when if something is wrong with you and your partner, you immediately call the same person every single time.
Yes.
That's a red flag.
Yeah.
Okay,
She's got this motherfucker on speed dial. I'm just saying.
I will say that Holland said that he talked it over with Stephen King about the ambiguity of this possibility, and it's never explicitly stated.
No,
and
it's not
on purpose.
But in the fact that the state that Billy is in, he could be extremely paranoid.
Well, he was just hallucinating them last night.
Yeah, he was hallucinating last night. And the fact that he in his mind blames her for what happened.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, I think that on one hand, it is kind of a scapegoat situation. Maybe he's setting us up to accept something that happens later on that we should not be accepting. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think that Mike is a fucking...
He's a weasel.
He's a lizard.
Yeah. See, he's a snake.
He's the
snake.
But Mike stands up and tells him the kind of legal action that would force him to return to Glassman before it's too late. Billy gives a small smile and says that he'll go back. Heidi rushes to him and says that she's so happy, but Billy just looks her up and down, then glances at Mike. Still smiling, he walks away. We cut to Billy driving and eating Doritos. He loves Doritos.
I think this film was sponsored by Doritos.
Yeah, no shit.
His voice narrates a letter he left for Heidi. Dear Heidi, I'm going after Lemke. The old guy knows what I did, but not what you did, and that frees you up to believe the curse is all in my head. Unfortunately, that's a luxury I no longer have, but I'm going to work it out. In the meantime, if there's anything going on between you and Dr. Mikey, end it immediately. Billy.
So here's the thing for me is that he's basically saying you deserve to be cursed too.
1,000%.
That's not cool.
Like it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Like he resents her and blames her for all of this. When you were once again, T.
Please.
No, hold on though. Hey, I get it. She initiated it. So again,
But even when she stopped, he was like, no, come on.
well, no, I get it, but again, she did. They both made a mistake.
They did.
That was it.
They did.
There doesn't need to be any blame. There doesn't need to be any. You should be cursed too. No, dude,
But
y'all.
that's literally what he's
It
saying.
is.
Straight up.
That's literally what he's saying.
It is, but I'm like,
That is wild,
realistic.
dude.
Yeah, don't do that, dude.
That's your wife.
Don't do that. That's crazy as fuck. Right? You should be losing weight with me.
That's wild. But Billy tracks down the remains of a camp. The Lemke family, though, is long gone. As he turns to head back to his car, he sees a sign on the fence for Quigley Realty. This was smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes to Quigley Realty, where he meets a very friendly Biff Quigley, played by Peter Maloney. He asks Billy if he minds telling him why he wants to know where they went, but Billy tells him that he does mind. Biff backs off immediately, allowing that a man's reasons ought to be his own, but it's still going to cost him $800. Billy is confused, but Biff continues. The $800 isn't for the info. The info's free. The $800 is for the info he doesn't give his wife and doctor. He takes a missing persons poster out of his desk and hands it to Billy. It's a picture of Billy as he looked when we met him, with the word missing and a boast of a $5,000 reward in red around it. The men stare each other down until Billy asks if Biff takes traveler's checks. With a smile, Biff nods. Now, I don't know where he got the 800.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Even 4,500, you know?
Yeah.
Like anything I'm coming in under, whatever. Or 5,000.
Yeah.
If I turn you in, I get this. You give it to me and I'll keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
It is wild to me that Mike had the fucking nerve to put his own information on that flyer.
Yeah.
Because he said your wife and doctor.
Yeah.
Well,
The whole ass wanted poster are missing.
That's
Dude, that's a
wild.
lot.
She got that letter and was like, print them up. Because
Yeah.
he was driving here when he was reading the letter.
don't you have to be missing for or is that not even true?
No, that's
a lie.
not true.
Where did that come from?
Podmortem PSA, the 48 hours thing is bullshit and do not fucking listen to it.
And what a wild, arbitrary thing to do.
Yeah. And hello, the first 48?
Yeah.
Stupid asses.
It's the most important time.
Anyway, that always makes me so mad. But yeah, they did that.
Did you like how I came to the realization
You're
mid-sentence?
like, oh no,
you don't. That's a lie.
don't fall for it. Later, Billy pulls into a parking garage and sees a flyer for a fair taped to a post, boasting that the family will be there fortune-telling. Carnival music plays, and Billy quietly tells the flyer, "Gotcha." He goes to the fair that night and quickly finds them. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Lemke sits in a chair and Gina calls out to the crowd, promising that the old man knows everything. Billy approaches and Lemke calls out to him, telling him not to bother to step on the scale because he can tell his weight from right here. 159, right? And next week it'll be 143. And the week after that, he starts to laugh and says, whew, we don't like to think about that, do we?
Damn.
A joyous and wheezy laugh explodes from him. He truly is doing what he loves, and I love that for him.
I'm working a day in his life.
Yeah. Gina offers him consolation, telling him that she's sorry, but he loses. She reaches behind her to the prized dolls and considers one that looks like Rossington, but with cracked and scaly skin, before deciding on one that looks like a gaunt and skeletal Billy in a suit. She plucks it down and tells him that he can have a prize anyway before tossing it to him. I was like, this is wild.
Yeah. As this was continuing, I was like, guess your weight is really on the nose. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He catches it, still not saying a word. But when Gina pulls out her slingshot and yells, he drops the doll and runs away through the crowd. Gina follows him and Lemke stays behind, continuing to laugh his ass off.
All those dolls were just them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
all
was
of them.
fucking hilarious.
That was another thing.
So I was like,
Yeah.
this is a lot. Can you imagine just being a person winning that doll and being like,
What the
Right?
fuck?
Who
an
the fuck are
avocado.
they? Yeah.
Thanks.
And that kind of lends to obviously what happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, it would have been cooler if it were just a wall of all these different victims.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
You
would
know?
have been way better.
Just a history.
Yeah.
Gina literally chases Billy out of the fair, where he nearly collides with the car. But the car comes to a screeching halt, and it's Rossington behind the wheel, his face in dry, cracked, splintered plates. He calls Billy an idiot and tells him to get in. Gina finally catches up and fires, breaking Rossington's back window. Billy immediately gets in the passenger seat and Rossington speeds off. Chunks of his face oozing blood and literally falling off. Rossington asks if Billy is ready because they're going to get the bastard. He speeds down the road and Billy asks what he's doing. Rossington screams that he's saving him. Isn't that what he wants?
I did like the look of his face falling apart.
Yeah.
The only thing that sucks is that in the next shot, his face is back to normal.
Yeah.
It's like, let it ooze, man. Come on.
It was nasty.
Yeah.
He's still speeding and coming toward them is a semi with Lemke still laughing behind the wheel. This is when I was like, hold on. Because I did not remember this part.
No.
Like, isn't that weird? It's like I blocked this whole part out.
I remembered his face.
Yeah, I remember that.
But that's it.
Yeah, that was literally it.
The vehicles approach each other at top speed on a bridge, and when Billy tries to open the door and get out, Rossington drives along the side of the bridge so he can't. Rossington screeches to a stop in the middle of it, letting the semi hit it on the driver's side. Rossington is immediately struck motionless. I'm sorry.
No, dude, it's so funny.
Yeah.
It's literally, it's the cut is too quick.
Yeah.
And so he's barely even made contact and he's just out. That's all he needed. I think he was dying already.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He had 1 HP.
That was it.
That was it. As sparks fly and a fire engulfs the side of the car. Approaching them from the other side now is a school bus, again with Lemke behind the wheel. Billy screams, his hands pressed up against the window as the school bus speeds toward him. Suddenly, Billy wakes up drenched in sweat in his hotel room. He grabs the phone as he tries to catch his breath and punches in Lita's number. When she answers, he asks to talk to Rossington. Lita says that she's sorry, but Carrie can't come to the phone right now because yesterday he drove his Lincoln into a gas truck.
You've buried the lead here. First of all,
Yeah.
you can't say that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Carrie can't come to the phone right now. He exploded last night.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You can't fucking do that.
With a chuckle, she tells him it's kind of a happy ending because he always wanted to be cremated. I was like, oh, she's gone.
Yeah. Just, got to joke about it.
You gotta laugh through it. As he lowers the phone from his face, Billy offers the widow a quiet apology.
I did want to say before we move on about this nightmare, a very cool thing I learned from the commentary about the production.
Yeah.
The carnival was not built from the ground up or anything by the production. They literally just hired a carnival company in Maine and just had them set up
How cool.
All right.
just so they could film.
that
it
would
worked.
be cool.
Yeah.
I love the setting. We don't get to stay there for very long, but it is really cool.
Yeah.
There are like maybe 3 or 4 shots in the film that really are pretty remarkable to me. One of the shots is him standing in front of the Ferris wheel lights.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
And then there's a few other just scenic shots of Maine that look really nice.
Yeah, yeah.
But I wanted to highlight the carnival because I thought that was incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That would be cool.
Hell
To be like,
yeah.
hey, look, we got to go set up. What?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
One night only.
Yeah, get
Yeah.
there. There's cameras and everything, lights. Shit.
That's
would
badass.
Be, oh, yeah.
But Billy drives out to the pier to see that the fair is already being taken down. When he sees the Seven Seas Lounge and Bar across the street, he heads inside. He hands the photo of Lemke to a man at the bar, giving his name and asking if he's seen him. This man doesn't reply, but further down the bar, Flash Enders, played by Robert Fitch, goes, Tatty Lemke? I was like, he has a nickname?
Yeah.
Billy goes over to him, but Flash looks horrified. He looks at the photo and says that he knew he was around. Billy superfluously asks if he knows him, and Flash asks how he could forget him with the cancer in the middle of his face. He says that he hasn't seen him since he worked a Ferris wheel 10 or 20 years ago, but he knew he'd seen him last night. 10 or 20 is a big...
That's a gap.
Yeah.
He tells him what he said to him, mimicking Lemke's voice. Hey, Flash, where's that pretty little wife of yours? Well, don't matter. You'll see her soon.
I feel like we could have done without the impression.
Yeah.
Especially with what you're saying. It
Yeah.
seems
Yeah.
a little odd. He's like, listen to this shit. I've been practicing.
Like, can you fucking believe this? He grabs Billy and confides that his wife has been dead for 5 years and Lemke knew it. Billy asks if he saw where they went when they left. Flash didn't, but he says that he heard them on Route 27, then north on 1. Flash drinks from his beer and Billy thanks him gratefully before turning to leave. Flash stops him and tells him to be careful because Lemke will chew him up and swallow him down. He's like, well, the last time I got swallowed down, it ended.
All right.
It did end bad.
Jesus.
It
But-
started all this mess.
I do though want to say that for me, meeting this dude and hearing his story, I kind of don't care about these other people now either. You're making this old man sound like a dickhead.
Horrible, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't sound like a good person either.
Yeah.
So who am I supposed to be taking sides here with?
I think T kind of nailed it earlier when he said that there are no heroes here.
Yeah,
Some people are just less
literally.
bad than
Yeah.
other people.
I feel like it would work better if it were a little more good,
Yeah.
to where the bad side is kind of the person we're following.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he is.
And he is,
He
but
is,
also to
but
make
then-
him an asshole?
See,
Yeah,
that's what that's kind of an issue that I had watching it now is I'm like, are we supposed to think that Billy is good?
We shouldn't.
Yeah, no.
I don't.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I think that he's a piece of shit too. And then later on, the like ultimate ending, he's awful.
Yeah, and the difficulty is what we'll talk about in a bit about the test audiences.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So it's just it's confusing to me because I feel like you don't necessarily need this person's
No,
good and this
of course
person's
not.
bad. But I wonder if the motivation here is that Billy is the good guy because he's not. Like he's terrible.
no.
Because the way that they keep framing this family as they were stealing and they did this and he said my wife and my wife is dead. Like
Yeah.
we're just like more and more they're horrible too. So it's like it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
I still sympathize with them more
Of course.
than
Well, yeah.
the people that made this conspiracy
Of
against
course.
them.
Yeah.
Whatever. But outside, Billy uses a payphone to call home. Linda answers, and Billy is emotional at the sound of her voice. He asks when she got back. She's happy to hear from him and says that she got back yesterday, but that Heidi is really upset. He asks where her mom is now, and Linda reports that Heidi is in the kitchen with Mike.
Her next line made me laugh out loud. She goes,
Billy, yeah. Billy asks what Dr. Mikey's doing there, and Linda spills, oh, he's been here a lot.
Again, what am I supposed to
It's
think
not
here?
a good look. It's
No.
not a good look.
oh, he hasn't left since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually sleeping in the... It's weird.
Yeah, it's
weird.
strange. It's strange.
Heidi picks up the other phone, asking if it's Billy on the other end, and Billy's face immediately sours. Heidi says that she's been talking to Mike, and Billy immediately hangs the phone up angrily, yelling, bitch. He says that it's all her fault. I'm like, dude, he hates her.
What?
All?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He is it's the accountability. It's the lack of
Yeah.
accountability
Yes.
for me. Because in court, you obviously didn't take any responsibility for what you did.
Mm-hmm.
But even within your marriage and the fact that y'all were the only two people in the car that know what really happened, even there, you're not taking accountability.
Yeah.
No.
It's
Hey, who was, jog my memory, who was staring up at the car roof in cartoonish ecstasy? Was it?
yeah, I don't think it was Heidi.
When they should have been operating a motor vehicle.
No. She was looking at the floor and
She wasn't driving.
yes.
No, she wasn't.
She wasn't driving.
She's a
She was
passenger.
distracting.
Passenger.
That night, Billy stops his car on a road before walking into the woods. There, he finds the Lemke's camp. He walks straight into it, drawing attention from the people he passes. Finally, Gina and Gabe confront him at the center next to a bonfire. Lemke is not far behind them. Gina screams shame on him. She tells him that he killed her mama. She asserts that he's a demon and that they should kill him. Billy asks if that's what he is to them. A demon? Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
dude.
You're a monster. He raises his shirt, revealing his concave chest and stomach and his visible ribs, imploring that she look at him. Gina only spits at his feet between her forked fingers and yells at him in Romani. She turns back to her husband, and Lemke places a reassuring hand on her shoulder for a moment before stepping to Billy. He tells him that she called him the white man from town. This garners chuckles from the crowd, but Lemke tells him flatly, "You've got no business with us, white man from town, and we've got no business with you."
Wouldn't the crowd have understood it before Lemke translated?
Yeah, but they're like, "Oh shit, he told him."
I can't believe he told
in your
him.
face, white man from town. But Lemke tells him to go away. He turns and Gina starts to lead him away, but Billy calls out that he's not done. He tells Lemke that his daughter ran out between two parked cars and he just couldn't see her. Lemke asks why he wasn't watching. He tells him emphatically, "You never see us." This was a lot.
Yes, I wrote bold statement.
Yes.
Because there could be some commentary built into that.
Absolutely.
My only thing is he did see you. He noticed you guys before he went in the fucking courthouse. He even said it looked like fun.
He did, but
he did notice.
Yeah.
He did.
But I feel like it's more of a statement on Billy's people, not just Billy.
I get it.
But I mean, the fact, why would you come here? Why would you come here asking? I don't even know if he's asking for forgiveness. I think he's just like, look, fix me. And be like, look, your daughter she was running, and like, why would you start with that?
It's because he still can't face what happened.
I guess, but why did you even come here then?
To get the curse lifted.
Because I'm not.
You know what? That's the whole movie.
Yeah, that's the whole point. You wrote the script.
I'm not taking accountability, but also give me what I want.
Wow.
I mean,
I don't want my actions to have consequences.
No, and I don't want to admit this shit. Yeah. Just make with the curse cure.
Lift it. But he waves Billy away with a scoff, but when he turns, Billy mimics it and gets his attention again. Billy asks if he thinks that doing this to him is going to get his daughter back, because he doesn't think so. He says that Hopley and Rossington are both dead, and that didn't bring her back. Lemke tells him that justice isn't about bringing back the dead. Justice is about justice. He says that his friends, the policeman and the judge, made sure nothing happened to him and kept him safe. But he made sure that something happened to them. That's justice. Billy says that Lemke knows as much about justice as he knows about turbine engines. It's like, dude, he doesn't know what you know.
Yeah.
Like, you work for an airline?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right, I bet you don't even know about turbine engines.
He doesn't know you. He yells at him to take the fucking curse off of him. Lemke steps right up to his face and promises that he will never take it off. He will die with it in his mouth. The rest of the family watches on, but Billy doesn't say anything. It's not until Lemke turns around that Billy falls to his knees and clutches onto his arm. Others start toward him, but Gabe and Lemke wave them away. Billy apologizes sincerely, admitting that it was all his fault. He asks that Lemke please take it off before this goes any further. I was a little surprised.
Yeah.
I expected him to be like, look, my wife Heidi, she's the one you want. She's a real bitch. This is all her fault. That's what he said.
He did.
He shouldn't have said it.
No. But Lemke only tells him to get out or he'll make it worse. He'll make it so much worse that he'll think he blessed him the first time. He pushes Billy off of him onto the ground and tells him like this. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Dude, run away, run away.
He waves his hand and shakes his clenched fist in the air, blood dripping from his palm and between his fingers. Billy only watches from the ground as Lemke turns, weakened, and starts to walk with the aid of Gina and Gabe. He tired himself out. Billy gets to his feet and says that he'll leave, but first he's going to curse him. He vows to curse Lemke and everyone else he sees by the light of the fire, the curse of the white man from town. Lemke, like me, doubles over with his wheezing laugh and everyone joins him. I was like, Billy, this is not it.
You can't just do that.
This is not it. Billy laughs with them, nodding along and inviting them to laugh now and cry later. His yelling makes the laughter die out, and he thrusts a finger toward Lemke, asking him if he wants to see what the white man from town can do when he puts his mind to it. He raises his hand to the sky, palm open, and warns Lemke to take the curse off of him before he can start. With a scream, Gina drops to a knee and shoots her slingshot, blowing a hole in the middle of Billy's hand. He falls to the ground. How embarrassing. Yeah. This is just not going the way you wanted it to.
What a powerful curse.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm so scared. She screams at him in Romani before telling him in English to leave this camp, calling him a murdering bastard. She backs up, immediately comforted by Limke and Gabe. Billy gets back to his feet and clenches his injured fist, squeezing blood onto the ground. He says, "The curse of the white man from town is on you, pal." Pal, that's great. He says that they don't write about it in books, but it's on them.
I feel like she could have done that without screaming.
The scream is part of it. I don't think she can pull. I don't think she can pull the slingshot back without it.
You can. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like Billy, but I do enjoy this threat because he's taking again what they're doing to him, and he's like, "Okay,
he's trying.
He's trying."
Yeah.
But again, I mean, we can say that now, but later we do find out. I mean. So,
You got to give him that.
It's a different method.
Yeah.
But it's effective.
Bleeding profusely back in his hotel room, Billy is weak when he calls Janelli. He admits that he's not doing so good and he needs a doctor. Janelli tells him that he'll have someone to him by morning. He admits that it won't be a doctor, but it'll be close.
See, this is the call that makes sense to Janelli.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one before, not so much.
Yeah.
That morning, Billy is visited by Dr. Fander, played by Sean Hewitt. The credit is doctor in quotes.
Wow.
Like allegedly. He lifts Billy's hand so that he can look through the hole in the center of his palm. He's like, "Ball bearing, huh?" He admits that this is a first for him, and Billy agrees. This kind of pain is a first for him too. Fander tells him that he worked with cadavers in med school that looked better than him. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Yeah. He takes out a bottle of potassium tablets. He says they're his, but Billy clearly needs them more than he does. Swathed in a blanket, Billy weakly asks if they'll do anything for the pain, and Fander is like, "Nope." He says they will prevent him from going into cardiac arrest, though. He advises Billy that if this is a diet, he has his permission to come off of it now. He starts to leave but stops, telling Billy to expect a visitor in the morning. But when Billy asks who, Fander only tells him to take the medication and get some rest. He leaves and Billy falls backward onto his bed.
I did learn on a featurette that hand was completely mechanical.
Wow.
Yeah, it had a hollow void in the middle, so you can get that shot, of course. But the fingers were operated individually by a mechanical like a joystick, basically.
Very nice.
That's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it looks good.
It
does.
It really does.
The next day, Janelli knocks on Billy's door, and when Billy answers, wrapped in a blanket with his face drawn and gaunt, Janelli tells him that he should have called him sooner. A lot sooner. Billy tells him that he didn't expect him to come himself, but with a wink, Janelli tells him that he wouldn't have missed it for the world. They head inside. That night, Janelli calmly finishes a phone call but yells "fuck" the second he hangs up. He goes into the bathroom where Billy stands on a scale, a box of Nilla wafers in one hand. Janelli comes behind him and pulls off his robe, and they both watch as the number on the scale adjusts to 125.
Jesus.
The bone's even more evident in his face and chest now. Billy sadly asks him, "Who was I kidding?" He closes his eyes as Janelli puts his robe back on. He asks if Billy ever heard of something called committal in absentia. Of course Billy has. It means when someone is committed to a mental hospital without being examined. He starts by saying it's usually invoked when someone runs off, and then he realizes why Janelli asked him. Janelli can barely meet his eyes, and Billy understands that Mike couldn't have done it without Heidi. He damns them both.
I don't know why he is surprised or upset.
When he literally walked in on them talking about it.
Yeah. And then he ran away.
Yeah.
I mean,
and there's already missing poster signs out there.
Yeah. He's like, how dare they?
I can't fucking believe this.
You've seen he moved the shit in already, dude.
I was like, oh, he's been here since.
Oh, Daddy Mike?
Yeah.
He stares at his changed reflection in the mirror, and Janelli gently asks if he thinks that Heidi and Mike might be. Billy admits that he does think that. He didn't want to believe it at first, but then one night he saw Mike's car pulling out of the driveway, and Heidi said he had just stopped by. Billy collapses into coughs, and Janelli comforts him. He says that by the time the order goes through, this will either all be over or Billy will be dead. If he makes it, though, he'll be able to deal with Heidi and Mike at his leisure. He leaves the room, and Billy looks at his withered face in the mirror, promising Heidi that he will get her for this.
So before we talk about that whole thing,
There's a lot to unpack.
I just wanted to talk about the makeup again. They had said that this was actually the thinnest makeup that they created for the film, but they actually worked backwards and started with this makeup and built upon it to give you what you saw at the beginning.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they said that throughout the film, he goes through 12 stages of weight loss.
Yeah.
Damn.
And so I was kind of fascinated to think of all the subtle transitions.
Yeah.
Because I didn't count 12.
No.
Fuck no.
But that's what makes it so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had read that they had plans for, I guess around this point, for his flesh to literally be hanging off of his bones and he's like rotting kind
Yeah.
of. But the producers said that it was too much. And that this
Yeah.
this was as far as they could push it, basically.
Just to leave them all skeleton and
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
and shit. And apostrophe
Yeah.
shit. But Heidi,
Yeah, that's, come on,
it's
dude.
a lot. Again, though,
it-
if you take out the possibility of infidelity,
Yeah.
and she's already doubled down on the fact that she does not believe in curses. This horrible thing happened. He's rapidly losing weight. He's not sick. He's run off. I mean, I can understand why she would be like, he needs help.
Yeah.
He needs to be put here if he's not going to do it himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's trying to help. And
Yeah.
he's like, fuck that.
It's
Yes.
when you put it like that, it only makes it a million times worse.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
I'm just saying.
They'll rue the day.
Yeah.
It's like, dude.
They tried to save my life. But that night, Janelli drives down to the camp with Billy lying weakly in the passenger seat. Janelli stops the car and Billy asks him, "You're not actually going to hurt anyone, are you?" Janelli says that he's not, but he also says that if Billy is asking for his help, he doesn't get to ask that question again. Before Billy can respond, Janelli gets out of the car, and when he closes the door, dogs at the camp begin to bark. I feel like we keep getting these glimpses of Billy where we're supposed to be like, oh, he is a good guy.
Yeah.
And that was one of them. And it's like, you've kind of gone too far.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not going to bring it back with, you're not actually going to kill that girl, right? It's like, no, man, no. But Janelli sneaks onto the property where the dogs are kept in cages. Hunched like a cartoon villain in a hat and coat, Janelli asks the dogs, who wants a little strychnine? I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that's a lot, dude.
I couldn't believe it.
Leave the dogs alone.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They're fine.
What did they do?
Yeah, they didn't do
Literally
anything.
nothing. They have nothing to do with this. He tosses the poison at the dogs and tapes a note to the door of one of the cages. White man from town says, take it off. Afterwards, Janelli pulls into a gas station and makes his way over to the other car parked in front of it. Behind the wheel is Frank Spurton, played by Josh Holland, fast asleep. Janelli wakes him up, identifying him as the money fairy, and Frank rolls his window down. Janelli asks Frank's name and calls him by his first and last before pulling a wad of cash out of his shirt pocket. I thought that Spurton was waiting here for him, that this was like a plan.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
But he just grabbed a random guy. Like,
Yeah.
this guy
Yeah.
was just here.
I do want to point out that this is Tom Holland's son.
I read
Very
Holland
nice.
and I knew it was
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Excited, Frank gets out of the car, quietly telling him that he won't do anything that goes on video. And while Janelli tells him that that's a good policy, that's not what he had in mind. He tells him that if the camp down the road leaves, just give him a call. Flirtatiously, Frank asks him what name he should ask for in case someone else should answer. But Janelli hands over the money and playfully tells him not to worry, he will be the one answering. He heads back over to his car, and Frank peers through the window at Billy's ghoulish figure, looking even more shrunken than earlier. Billy looks back at him, and they drive away. He's like, what the fuck? Like, dude, don't. He's staring at him in the eyes.
Yeah.
Is that a fucking corn husk riding passenger? How are you doing that?
And
How are you doing that?
And I see you, baby boy. I like
I'm
it, but that's
saying.
probably not the safest place to set up shop.
No, it's not.
Maybe don't just hang out there waiting.
I was a little worried about him. I did really appreciate, though, that this is the fucking 90s.
Yeah.
And there was no sneer, no commentary,
Nope.
no disparaging remarks, nothing about, I guess, the sex work.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I really appreciated that.
No, they're just reserving that for
the family,
Yeah.
yes. They're like, look, we're maxed out. we can't do anything else. No more slurs.
as insensitive as we can be.
Yeah. We used it all up. But Janelli is smiling as they drive down the street, and nearly lying down in his seat, Billy asks him if he likes this. Janelli asks him if he's kidding before confirming that he fucking loves it.
Gang, gang.
The next morning, Frank calls the motel room phone to report that the Lemkes are at a small farm off Route 92, but he thinks that they made him. Janelli cautions him to get the fuck out of there as soon as he can and to lose his number. On his way from the payphone to his car, Frank drops his keys. When he bends down to pick them up, a shoe steps on it. When Frank looks up, he's greeted by the smiling faces of Gina and Gabe Lemke. Back at the motel, a delivery boy, played by Alilon Ruggiero, drops off packages and scurries away. Billy is still watching at the door when the van takes off and sees that Frank's car is parked behind it and it is vandalized. Janelli is pleased when he opens one of the packages to reveal a rifle, I think?
AK,
okay. AK, nah. But when he turns around excitedly to tell Billy, he sees that Billy has already started walking outside. He follows him up to the car where the words "white man from town" have been written repeatedly in white paint. They cautiously approach the driver's side door where Frank sits dead. His eyes are gouged and the head of a rooster sticks out of his mouth. Written in blood plainly on his forehead is only one word: never. Janelli and Billy eye each other fearfully, and Billy ventures that he thinks it's time they moved on.
He's like, I left a piece of paper.
Yeah.
This is a lot, Robin. That night at a new location, Janelli and Billy sit in low light, and Billy jumps when Janelli loads his AK.
Yes.
All right. He tells Janelli that this is getting out of hand, but Janelli tells him he's wrong. It's been out of hand ever since Lemke touched him, but he's just the guy to put it back in hand. He says that they can't get away with what they did to that kid. He was a mook, but he was his mook. Richie the Hammer.
That's, you know what this is? This is, I'm trying to get a spin-off behavior.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I was like, I was like, all right.
Yeah.
He gets carried away. He starts to leave, but Billy quietly tells him, please don't. Janelli turns to look at him, but Billy can't muster up any more resistance. That night at their new camp, everything is as usual. They're hanging out, dancing, listening to music, but the night takes a turn when Janelli sneaks up behind Gabe and bashes him in the head, knocking him out. He puts duct tape over his mouth before moving on. After quietly and stealthily dispatching Gabe, he just takes out his AK and opens fire, spraying the family and the trailer. Holes are blown into it, and Lemke rocks inside when the tires are flattened. I thought we were going to get some kind of stealth montage of him sabotaging shit or taking shit out. No.
Not at all.
No. And again, I'm the defender of this film, okay? This part, I was like, I don't like this at all.
No.
I understand that Janelli is going to handle things in a different way than the family or even than Billy would, but this just doesn't. Again, like we talked about in Dr. Sleep, where it's like all this supernatural shit is set up and then y'all are shooting each other. Like, I don't know. It falls so flat. Maybe because I don't like guns. It just really, it falls flat for me.
I think for me, the only thing is that we've only seen two of them have powers. This dude doesn't. So he's got to use what he's got to use.
I mean, I guess.
I feel like it'd be different if it was the other way around.
And they were shooting them. I would
then
be
it
mad.
would be like, well, hold on. You know what we're thinking. How the fuck?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I think the thing that got me is, why is Janelli not involving any of his cohorts?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's
You're
a good
literally
question.
in the mafia.
Yeah.
Well, he had them.
I didn't even think about that.
He had them overnight FedEx him the AK.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
true. That's about it. He's like, no, I can handle it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
But meanwhile, kills like fucking no one.
Yeah. But Janelli continues to shoot, exploding cars, and Gina hides behind one, screaming. But the family takes out their own guns, firing back at him and riding toward him in a truck. This is egregious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Richie drops down behind his cover and leaves a note with Gabe. He tosses Gabe over the cover to his family, bound with the tape still over his mouth. Limke and Gina stand in front as the family opens fire on Gabe, believing him to be Janelli.
This makes no sense.
No!
Yeah.
He's clearly taped,
Bound.
Yep.
I just don't get it at all.
That's what I thought too. I would understand if maybe it was a little darker, but you can see him.
Yeah.
You can see his hands are, like you said, bound, or they're in the front, the back. Either way, you see, can't use them.
Yep.
Why would you do that?
Clearly not holding a gun.
Yeah.
No.
Don't even put his jacket on him.
Yeah.
Gabe's body jumps as he takes the shots, but he continues to stumble toward them until he drops to his knees and falls over. Gina screams and cries before running over to him and sobbing over his body. The family surrounds her, and one of the men tears the note off of Gabe's chest. There, written again in capital letters and stained with Gabe's blood, is the message, "White man from town says take it off." Limke looks contemplatively at the spot where Janelli once stood while Gina continues to cry. The next morning.
Okay. See, and this is literally where I'm like, this is not even the same film.
It's
These aren't even the same people.
I will say, I like Janelli.
Yes.
It really takes a turn. I like his character. It really takes a turn when he gets involved.
Yeah.
I will give you that.
You know what they do for every spinoff is they do like a little pilot episode. Like it's a ghost pilot where you don't realize that they're setting up the spinoff.
Yes.
Is that what this is?
This is it.
The next morning, police are swarming the camp. Wearing glasses and a dark trench, Janelli approaches Gina. He identifies himself as Special Agent Anthony Stoner from the FBI, even presenting a badge. She is friendly to him, but he pulls out a picture, asking if she's ever seen this man. It's Billy before his weight loss. She jumps to her feet, yelling that that pig killed her mama and her husband. She is sure that it was him here at the camp last night, but Janelli says that it wasn't him. They do think that he hired someone to make the attack, and they have him in custody. I'm sorry, I'm already laughing because of a reveal later.
Oh, dude, it's so ridiculous. But for me here, this is where I was thinking. I was like, Gina's got supernatural powers.
She did.
Right, she had.
Yeah, she's
It's
lost
only
them.
it's only when she's in Fairview. He asks if she would mind coming with him to identify him. With a smug smile, Gina takes off the blanket that she was wrapped in, ready to help. Back at the house that they're, I guess, squatting in, Billy watches through the window as Janelli steps onto the property. He's in disbelief when he sees Gina walking behind him. He leads her into a shed, and when she realizes that his car is not here and tries to leave, Janelli stops her. He tells her that he forgot to show her the picture of the man who attacked their camp. He presents to her his own mugshot.
Come on.
I fucking love that. I was like, yeah.
I busted out laughing. I just can't. But it's like Richie the Hammer on Fox.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
That's why. It's so ridiculous. Why would you do that?
I don't know. And he had it on him. He
yeah,
had
no,
it.
it was clearly a headshot.
I just don't understand.
On Fox.
He'll be canceled after one season.
It will. It's Fox.
I just don't get it.
She screams that it was him and tries to run, but he grabs her and throws her to the ground. Surprisingly, he throws liquid in her face, telling her that it's acid.
Is that what he said? Or
What did he say?
he said, here's acid in your face, you fine ass bitch?
I couldn't believe it.
No. What the fuck?
He's just escalating. I don't
Yeah.
understand.
It's like, dude,
He's out of
Damn.
control.
where'd you get that from?
But the bottom line here, again, not to kick Billy while he's down. This is a very dangerous man, and
Yes.
he should be in prison right now, and he's not because of you.
Fair.
Just
Yeah.
this is scary. This is a lot. Where did you get that acid? Was that FedEx too?
Hey, we don't ask those questions.
I guess not. She lays on the ground screaming, and when Billy hears it, he starts to head that way. Janelli cautions her that he'll kill her if she screams again, and this quiets her. With a smile, he says that she's got a face full of soda pop and baking soda.
Did she seem more upset that it was that than it was?
She felt dumb.
She's like, oh!
She felt stupid.
Like, oh my God. Would you prefer acid?
Yeah, no shit.
She was like, oh, I was acting real dramatic. She's all. She screams and tries to attack him, but he slams her head into a ladder and she's back down. When he sees Billy in the doorway watching them, he yells at him to get the hell out of here. But that moment of distraction is enough for Gina to claw his face and try to run. He stops her again, slamming her against the wall, but when he readies his gun, Billy tells him to stop. Janelle tells her that she gets to live this time because his friend asked, but next time she's dead. With a smile, Gina says, fuck them both, and spits in Janelle's face. He knocks her to the ground and unscrews the lid off of a jar, promising her that this is the real deal. For proof, he spills some onto her sweater and smoke rises as the acid eats the fabric. He balances the jar on her head, telling her that unless she wants to cover her face for the rest of her life, she needs to hold very still. Terrified, she listens. He tells her to have Lemke meet him at the lighthouse in 2 hours. He grabs Billy and leaves, unveiling the car hidden in the garage.
So there was a car.
Yeah.
There was a car, just not for her. Gina is able to carefully move the jar from her head and throw it to the ground. But just as she steps outside, Janelle and Billy pull off. She yells after the car, saying that Billy is a pig and he'll die thin, but Janelle will die first.
So this is something that is changed because of test audiences.
Really?
Yes, but we'll talk about it in just a little bit.
Okay.
Janelle pulls up to the lighthouse, promising Billy that Lemke will meet him on the bench in about an hour. Huddled in his coat that swallows him now, Billy thanks him, but Janelle says that if he really wants to thank him, he'll get that old bastard. He opens Billy's door for him and Billy gets out, lumbering weakly over to the bench. 2 kids throw a ball back and forth to each other and pay him no mind as he sits down. He's barely able to stay conscious and his face looks skeletal and worse than ever. Unable to control it any longer, Billy nods off.
I guess we'll talk about it right now. It was supposed to be that Janelle is murdered.
Oh, okay.
I think don't they shoot him dead?
I know in the book he is. And when Billy goes back to his car, Janelle's cut off hands are in it. And then he hears on the news that Janelle was shot dead with the word pig written in blood on his forehead.
Okay, because they filmed a death sequence for his character.
Yeah.
And I guess test audiences really liked Janelle, and so they changed it.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
Well, Janelle was a fucking madman.
Yeah.
Like if he got taken out, he let him get taken out.
yeah, I'd probably watch, maybe once a week, 44 minutes with commercials about about Janelle, I think. But that wasn't the only thing that was changed, and we'll talk a little bit more.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I kind of like him. He is what he is, and he lets you know that. And he's the only one.
That is
He's
true.
the only one.
He's honest.
That owns his shit. That's true. It is odd, though. We don't see him, hear from him, hear of his fate, nothing. When he drops Billy off,
That's it.
He leaves.
Yeah.
That's it. But Lemke wakes him up by pulling an eyelid open. He sniffs and tells Billy that his dreams smell bad to him. They stink.
Like, haven't you hurt me enough?
Yeah,
He's all-
God.
just crying on the bench. He asks Billy if he thinks he's still dreaming, but Billy doesn't answer. Lemke presents him with the freshly baked pie. He asks if this looks like a dream to him. Brandishing a knife, he tells Billy that he killed his daughter and got off. Just for that, he deserves to die, so he cursed him. But now, he has to do this so Janelle doesn't hurt Gina after they already killed her husband. He asks if he wants his little girl hurt too. Billy admits that he didn't want any of this. Lemke tells him that to get rid of the curse, he has to give it to the pie first. He uses the knife to slit into the pie. He takes the hand that Gina blew the hole through. It's wrapped in a white bandage, but deeply stained with red blood in the center. Lemke plunges the knife through the center of the stain. Billy reacts to the pain, but Lemke continues, twisting the knife. He says that he can give the curse inside to someone else. He chants as he squeezes Billy's hand over the pie. The pie reacts to his blood, moving and bubbling underneath the crust.
The pie was also mechanical.
I thought it looked really cool.
Yeah, it did. It scared me for a second. I was like, you got to give it to the pie, and he cut it open.
Give what to the pie?
Yeah, I was
He's
like,
look,
bro.
the last time.
Yeah, come on now.
Jesus Christ. Wrong film
Yeah,
where a man makes a tweet with a pie.
Yeah. But it does happen.
It does.
makes it sweet.
It's a pie.
Bennett. Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Finished now, Lemke tells Billy that he's going to start gaining his weight back fast. He says that someone needs to eat this pie soon, and whoever does eat it is going to die quick and bad. He asks if Billy has someone in mind, and Billy answers coldly, yes.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Disgusted with Billy, Lemke gets up from the bench. He stands behind him and asks why he doesn't do right. He implores him to eat his own pie. He'll die thin, but he'll die clean. Billy harshly tells Lemke to get away from him because their business is done. You ungrateful little fuck.
Yeah, I just can't even believe this.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but everything that we've seen coming to this point in the film.
Yeah.
When it ends because Lemke is like, look, they put a hit out on my granddaughter.
Yeah.
So I guess, put your blood in this pie.
Yeah. I guess there's only so much they can do against the mob.
Yeah,
After that, it's
that's
like,
so
never
Gotta
mind.
play the game.
Never mind.
That's why I'm like, just kill Janelli, right? I mean, it's so weird to me.
Well, but if we learn from Goodfellas, you can't kill a made man, and we
Oh.
don't know
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
That is true.
But if you kill Janelli, then this erases all of this because they got nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah, that's true.
And then he
Yeah.
said he'll die with it in his mouth.
So he's just a specter hanging over them forever?
Janelli.
Is that what Richie the Hammer's about? Maybe I won't tune in.
Tune in this Friday at 7. Lemke turns back once more, pleading with him, die clean, white man from town, die clean. Without another word, he turns and walks away. We cut to Linda talking to Billy on the phone. He assures her that he's still pretty thin, but he's going to be okay. When we see him at the phone booth, he looks much better, and there is strength to his voice again. He tells Linda that he's coming home tonight, but he wants it to be a surprise. He tells her to stay at her friend's house, and she protests, but he insists. He says that there are things he needs to talk to her mother about and makes her promise that she won't be home. Linda finally does, and Billy tells her, let me talk to your mother. Heidi takes the phone with Linda still listening in. She asks if that's him, and Billy just tells her that there are things he needs to do before he gets home, so he'll see her in a couple days, and then he just hangs up.
Shouldn't Linda have been like, why are you talking about mom like that? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that sounds awful.
Yeah. Are you mad at mom?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
you ran away.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's better immediately, like you said.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately.
He told him it would be fast.
Yeah.
We see him finally returning home with the pie. He sets it on the counter and it starts to undulate, but Billy smiles and it stops. He finds Heidi asleep on the couch and he touches her face, bidding her, wake up, white woman from town.
What the fuck is this?
Yeah,
dude?
I don't know.
That's him being like, look, it was you two. If I'm
That's-
white man from town, you're white woman from town. I'm telling you, he fucking hates his wife.
Now that's what it is right now, but later it just becomes things that he likes to say.
Yeah, no shit.
So I'm like, really?
She jumps up and hugs him, but he tells her to be gentle until he's at least 140. When she says that she didn't expect him yet, he says he just couldn't wait to see her. He even brought her a present, and it's on the kitchen counter. Heidi says she knows why he came home early, and she knows what he's been thinking too, but she swears to him that there's never been anything between her and Mike. And this here, I'm like, I believe you.
Yeah.
But wait. Billy says that they can talk about all that in the morning, but he's going to bed because he's exhausted. Heidi agrees and says that she'll go with him, but he tells her no, it's early. He says to check out what he brought her because she'll like it. With a laugh, she says that he's starting to sound like his old silly self. I don't know what he said that was silly, but
Yeah.
you know.
No, he sounded quite cryptic.
Yeah. He sounded like your old scary self. Ominous self. He tells her that he's starting to feel like his old silly self. He tells her again to go see what he brought her. She leaves and we hear her voice call out from the kitchen asking if it's strawberry. He says that it is, and she says that that's her favorite. He says that he knows, and he turns before heading upstairs, coldly saying that getting even's also what it's all about. You bitch.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
I don't know, man.
I
don't know.
And is that to answer what Limke said like 5 days ago?
Yeah.
What the hell are you talking about? His wife's like, I don't know what.
Yeah, I was just there for that.
Yeah.
This is just for him.
What'd you say, honey? He's like, nothing.
Then he dashes upstairs. But he walks upstairs. The next morning, Billy wakes up next to Heidi, but he only sees her blonde hair poking out from under the covers. He calls out to her and asks if she's awake. He leans close, asking if she tried it, and when he pulls the covers down, we see her, shrunken, emaciated, bloody, and dead. He surmises, "Yep, you tried it." Inexplicably, he leans in and kisses her dead lips. He muses, "Strawberry pie, and licks his lips. You're probably going to die now.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I didn't understand that. Plus, come on, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, what?
He says that he wouldn't want to eat too much for himself, though. It's diet food. I got to say, though, strawberry pie is not diet
Yeah.
food. Just because there's strawberries in it. But he pulls on his robe and congratulates her on being a size 6 again, maybe even a size 4. He heads downstairs happily, but the smile drops from his face when he sees Linda's coat, shoes, and school books thrown onto a chair.
So I want to talk about Heidi's death real quick. Because in the original cut of the film that they showed to the test audiences, it's a little more ambiguous after she eats the pie.
Okay.
He sees her lying next to him, and that's about where it's done.
Oh, all right.
But for some reason, the test audiences fucking hated Heidi.
What?
They actually really, really liked Billy and Janelli. And so that's why Janelli lives, and that's why they did reshoots for, I think, a couple days on the Paramount lot. Because the rest of the film is filmed in Maine, so they got everyone back together just so we could get a gruesome death for Heidi to satisfy this test audience.
What the fuck?
I was like, really? She didn't.
I gotta
Yeah.
no. It's she's the woman, and these boys are just having fun, and she's yelling at him about his diet and maybe fucking his friend. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Jesus Christ.
I can't help but feel some type of way about that. That it's like, no, kill her, but these guys. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't like
After
that.
everything Billy's done,
I don't like
Yeah.
that.
And said?
and that's the thing. Not only are you saying kill her, you're saying no, Billy should kill her.
Yeah.
Like it's like, what are y'all watching a different movie?
It's very weird. It
Yeah.
is very
Because
weird.
Billy's pretty fucking despicable.
Yeah.
And he was mean to her too.
now he's making out with corpses and shit. Like,
Yeah.
That's what y'all wanted?
Yeah.
like Billy. It's like, you guys need to.
The fuck? But Billy goes into the kitchen and fear takes over his face when he sees 2 dirty plates and forks in the sink, smeared with strawberry pie. He takes the pie out to see that 2 slices have been eaten. Linda comes in and rushes to him, giving him a big hug. She tells him that he's thin, but she's glad to see him anyway. She apologizes for not staying with her friend, but says that she needed to talk to her mom before she saw him. Things haven't been great between the 2 of them because of what he's been going through. So she came back when he went to bed and they were able to talk and work everything out. Then she had a piece of his pie for breakfast. She insists that it was delicious and things are cool again between her and her mom. She says she's got to go now to play soccer, but she takes one more big piece of strawberry from the pie with her finger and eats it. She kisses her dad, telling him that she loves him as she runs out.
She'll be fine, right? Because the mother was like immediately.
She just ate it this morning.
I thought they had a conversation over pie together.
No, she said they had a conversation and then she had a piece of pie for breakfast.
Oh, she'll be dead
Because
soon.
I was, she's not long for this world.
No.
Because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, well, why is Heidi dead and she's fine? She said this morning.
Oh, okay.
She had it for breakfast. And Heidi had all night, so we don't know how many hours it took her to turn into that.
Okay. Because I was going to say, he said fast.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
I
so
mean, hours is fast.
she's going to be playing soccer with her friend and just going to drop dead. That's
Yeah.
frightening.
Not
the
just
fuck?
not just drop dead.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
gonna
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
waste
Yeah.
away.
That's true. Also, your soccer ball finger shouldn't be in that pie.
No.
No.
It's been on the ground at least once.
Gross.
I will say, though, again, with the changing of test audiences,
Yeah.
because her death was supposed to be shown as well in some capacity.
Yeah.
But I think that they said that it was too much, and so they left her death a little more ambiguous.
Okay. I don't.
Yeah.
You don't even need to have her eating the pie.
Well, I think that you do because
Billy needs.
it's like that's what you get.
It sucks for her.
It's not fair, but I feel like Billy, he's gotta. You can't keep getting away with it. Like, I don't know. Something needs to make you realize what a fucking horrible thing. I don't know.
Horrible thing you are.
I'm tired. But you know what I mean? I think that it makes for a good story. It's not fair to Linda. It's not okay. It's not any of that. But it is a gut punch of an ending.
It is.
And in the book, that was it. Billy feeds it to his wife, comes downstairs and realizes that they've both eaten it. And he's like, this was all my fault. And he sits down to finish the pie himself.
Yeah.
I like that ending a lot more than what we get.
Yeah, me too. That made me think of Sydney when she's like, I like that ending. And I'm like, shut the fuck
up. You're still here?
But as soon as she's gone, Billy crumbles into tears. He looks over at the pie as eerie music begins to play. He takes a forkful, and just as he raises it to his lips, the doorbell rings. When he opens the door, it's Mike. Mike is visibly surprised that Billy is home. With a laugh, Billy tells him that it's a bit early for a house call. Mike laughs nervously, saying it's not what it looks like. Heidi's been upset and he was just stopping by to see how she was doing. He's literally stuttering.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was like, last night, I really believed Heidi, but the way that you're acting, maybe he's just trying, as I said, to get in there.
Yeah.
But you're acting guilty as fuck.
He is. And I again, my thing is just that. Why is he this comfortable?
Yeah. It's first thing in the morning, dude.
Well, he's been over here every day. So.
Yeah, that's true.
No.
He's like, I goddamn live here.
Yeah.
But Billy tells him not to sweat it. He might have even done the same thing if he was in his shoes because he was acting like a jerk. He insists that he's fine now. He's even put a little weight back on. He was just about to dig into this here breakfast pie. The term breakfast pie.
Yeah.
There's not an egg in sight.
Yeah, no shit.
Did
There's
make me
nothing
laugh.
breakfast about that.
I don't get it at all. Just because you're eating it at this time.
Yeah.
He's like, I know it's diet food. He invites Mike to join him. Mike refuses, saying that he couldn't, but Billy insists. He tells him ominously that he's already settled everything with Heidi. Now it's his turn. I would run.
Yeah.
It's my turn?
Yeah.
Come on.
I would run. He says that it's delicious. Mike asks him if he's sure he's not intruding, and Billy tells him that he's positive. Mike heads inside, and Billy stands in the doorway with a smirk. Why are you groaning?
Why am I groaning?
Yeah.
What's next?
With a smirk, he says, "White doctor from town." He closes the door, and the credits roll.
Mike wasn't involved at all
He wasn't.
Yeah.
to even say these things. That's why I said he
No.
just enjoys saying it.
But
now.
he was out of
Yeah.
pocket. He was fucking disrespectful.
He was, but isn't it weird how quickly Billy got over his daughter eating the pie?
I know.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I was about to say. Is this ending? I get where it's like, I guess, whatever, the revenge or whatever.
Right.
A, we've never confirmed that this was actually happening. B, it really does make you like him even less. Because
Yeah.
he's like, well, Linda, but this, I don't
Yeah.
like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You should be fucking devastated, broken. Not only is this about to happen to your daughter, but it's about to happen to your daughter because of you.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, white doctor. But like, you're too playful.
Yeah.
You're being
Yes.
too playful.
And then it ends like the credits. It's like, come on, dude. That's not cool enough to go out on. It's not. It just isn't.
But I have to ask, so what did you guys think of Thinner?
So this was a wild movie, huh? It was
A little bit.
That's
yeah.
it,
Some stuff happened.
to say the least.
So is this a revenge story or is this
Well, we don't root for anyone, so
that's what I don't understand.
I mean,
Yeah.
I root for the family for a while.
yeah, that's
and
true.
then they make them out. I mean, it's very weird. It's
I-
very muddy.
I think that's the thing that I'm having a little more problem now with, as we discussed it, was realizing that nobody in this movie,
yeah.
I don't even want to say good, but seems kind of decent, I guess, after a point.
Yeah. But I think you're right, though, that it is definitely about revenge. I mean, it's the Lemke's revenge against Billy, and then
Yeah.
Billy's weird ass revenge
Made
against
up
Heidi.
revenge?
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, honestly, the Lemke revenge is fulfilled
Yeah.
because he knew that Billy would be selfish enough to not eat the pie himself.
Yeah.
And he probably knew that this was eventually what was going to happen. And
He
he's
probably
like,
did.
he played the long game and he won.
Mhm.
No, yeah. It wasn't as bad as, like you said to you earlier, as remembering it from before. But it also, I mean, I'm not gonna say I wouldn't watch the movie again. I probably would, but would it be my first or second choice? Probably not. But
You don't have to say second.
well, hey, look, I'm just keeping it real.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's being honest.
Yeah, it wouldn't be my first or second. But I mean, I would, if you were like, hey, throw on Thinner. Sure, that's fine. If that's what you want to watch, really, then
Sure.
yeah, let's watch it. But it is. I think it's just a little, dare I even say, too silly in the way they do things, to where it's like, I don't know if I even, what the fuck is happening or what. And then maybe not silly as far, or not so much silly as just confusing. So to where things that they aren't, you shouldn't be like, you are kind of like, what the fuck? Like, I know you said you didn't like the gun thing when dude went in there. I thought that was fucking, I was like, okay. I bought more into that. I was like, all right, mob's here now. You fucked up. It's like, all right. But it is a confusing movie. I know we don't always need a good and bad or whatever, but it does, after a while, kind of make everybody seem like you can't root for somebody. Because like I said, after a certain point, everybody's just an asshole or a bad guy, and then it's like, okay, what am I supposed to do? So you do only root for fucking, what'd you say, Ricky the Hammer? Richie the Hammer. That's all that is just like, yeah. It's like, all right.
But then after a certain point, it's like, all right, man. That's
calm
down, dude.
Yeah, when he kidnaps, it's like,
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Dude.
Now you.
It wasn't enough to murder her husband last night?
Last night. You're taking it too far.
Oh, the dogs. He shouldn't have done that.
Yes.
It was like, no, dude. Go bother those people. Don't bother the dogs. Leave them alone. But
wild.
I mean, it is a confusing movie because everyone in the movie is, you know what I mean? Like I said, because the fair with the Romanian people and that was fun. Everybody was getting along and they were doing whatever. Then you got these dickheads. They're fucking, oh, you just
racist.
Yeah, saying racist shit and whatever. And it's like, dude, fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
But then after you meet dude, he's like, oh no, dude was an asshole and he probably killed my wife and told me I was. It's like, what? What the fuck? And then he is just, no, I'm not gonna fuck you. I'm not gonna take out the curse. Okay, dude, but like he really, Billy is a piece of shit.
Yes.
He did fall to his knees and seemed sincere. At least be like, look, dude, you're gonna have to suffer till whatever. Then I'll take it off or what, something. But you also, this dude just be like, never. No, then you're unreasonable.
But I think my thing is that Billy never fucking really apologized.
No,
he didn't.
Well,
if he would have dropped to his knees and he would have said, I'm sorry for killing your daughter, instead of being like, please just take it off.
Okay, but even that.
Take the damn curse off.
But even that, he didn't murder her. It was an accident.
though.
No,
but
he didn't. It was an accident.
He didn't murder her, but it was manslaughter, and she did die.
But he's not a murderer. He didn't shoot her. He didn't.
No, but wait, he didn't kill her as if like a plan, like first degree murder.
Right.
Yeah.
But he did set in motion an entire conspiracy to make sure he never got
It's that part.
No.
That's the problem.
And I agree.
It
I
was
agree.
an accident.
Yes, it was
but
an accident.
the way they continue to portray it is, no, you came and murdered my daughter. No, you didn't.
Well, he said,
no, you didn't.
He said you murdered my daughter, and y'all made sure that nothing happened to you. Now something's happening.
So only
to you.
half of that is true. He didn't murder your daughter. He didn't.
Well, he caused her death.
No, okay, I'll accept that.
Yeah.
But again, you can't continue to sit here and be like, you're a fucking murderer. He didn't do it on purpose. I get it was an accident. I do. Yes, something very, very bad happened and what was going on. You guys were irresponsible and somebody lost their lives because of it. But to continue to sit there and be like, no, I'm going to fucking curse you to it. Dude, he did fall on his knees and say he was sorry. And then he got shot in the arm.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually. Eventually.
But it was the apology was less
So that you
important.
take it off.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, okay. I'll give you that.
What
yeah.
I will say, though, is from his point of view, Lemke's point of view,
Yes.
the way that they have been treated in this town,
Oh, no, yeah.
maybe it wouldn't be out of the norm for him to see her and just run her over. And then they all covered it up. I mean, they were treated horribly.
They were.
So, I mean, is that what happened? Was Billy like, oh, I'm going to get this bitch?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't. But could that be the perception? Yeah. The people in that town were fucking racist. And then his daughter was killed, and they did swiftly cover it up.
No,
I mean,
again, yes.
Like,
that's bullshit.
That's wild.
It is.
I mean, if you did think that, it's like, okay, that's not what happened, but I can see where you got that from.
No, yeah, and I'll agree with that. But again, like I said, for me, it's just confusing the whole thing.
Yeah.
The whole time, I'm just like, okay, I don't know who am I supposed to whatever for here? I'm like, I don't get it. And again, yes, before we were with the family. But then when we meet dude over there in the story he tells, all that makes me think is, oh no, you guys are just assholes like these dudes. What the fuck happened here? What happened to the story now?
I didn't like the addition of that guy at all.
Well, because we have no context.
No.
He wasn't even like, no, all I did was kill his daughter or whatever. Like, we have no context. You only get his side of the story where, again, Lemke is painted as a monster, a villain.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't.
Because if Billy were to tell his story, he would just talk about the curse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He'd be like, my wife ran over their daughter. And then now I'm
paying for it.
I'm thinner.
But we know now why you're being punished. Because of what y'all did. We don't get that from dude. We just get the story he tells, then it paints them in a bad picture. So it's like, dude, can we get a little more something so that I can give a shit about these characters more? Because I want to know more.
Yeah.
But it just feels like after some time, it's just, no, and add this. Okay, let's do that. Okay, it's like, man, I don't know. What am I watching? What am I supposed to be taking away from this? Because all I'm getting is that all you guys hate each other. That's it. Everybody just hates each other.
Mm-hmm.
And you made a very good point, T. There's no way that if Ari ate some pie I knew was going to kill her, that I would come and then when your sister's maybe Sancho shows up, I'm going to be like, oh, it's okay. Come have pie with me and wipe my tear away.
I was going to say, nobody saw you wipe the tear
and wipe my tear away.
But it's important.
You know what I mean? But that's, what the fuck?
Yeah. He got over it real quick.
Yeah. What?
It was to sell an ending that didn't work.
Yeah.
No, at all.
The movie is a lot of fun just to watch.
It is.
I feel like there are some tonal inconsistencies and a lot of confusion regarding what the real purpose of this film is. To me, it works a lot better if the Lemkes are blameless.
Yes. Oh,
absolutely. Yeah.
And this is literally just Billy's fuck up that he did not own up to.
Mm-hmm.
And this is his consequence.
Yes.
That is a much better thing to me.
Oh, no. Yeah, definitely.
And so that whole inclusion with the guy at the bar was just a misstep for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then the entire third act where it's Richie the Hammer, the fucking
spin-off?
Yeah. And it's called the backdoor pilot is what they do.
Okay.
For the thing, not a ghost pilot.
No.
I like that better.
Yeah, that's a Spirit that buys a plane. That's Spirit Airlines. But I don't know. I mean, I did have fun.
Yeah.
And it was fun to talk about. And it's one of those movies that I have that nostalgia for that if it's on, I will watch it.
Yeah.
It's one of those background movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
That you know it enough to just enjoy as it's on.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know. There's just a lot that I just didn't really appreciate.
Yeah.
And a lot of character shifts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In very odd ways. His hatred of Heidi is not only is it the excessive it's unwarranted.
Yeah.
Because he has no proof of anything.
Yeah.
And she's literally, if you look at it, really just trying to help him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, I'm going to, I know exactly who I'm going to feed this murder pie to.
Yes.
And it's
my wife.
Yes. It's not the lawyer dude that's been making fun of you the entire film.
Yeah.
It's your wife. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. And I think that the kind of dangling carrot of the cheating was just to make people be like, yeah, she deserves it.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, let's see Billy for what he is. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know? No, I all that and there's, you know, a lot of there's racism.
Mhm.
There's a little dash of misogyny. There's fat phobia.
Yeah.
But I think that all of those could be used to add some really important commentary to this. I don't know, again, like I said earlier, if that was the intention, but I think that it does start some conversations in those arenas, and I feel like that's always important. And you know, whatever media, film, TV, whatever you're consuming. But I still like this with all of the laughing that we've done, all of the, you know, everything aside. I'm malfunctioning. I still like this movie. I will watch it again when it's Halloween and they're doing those Stephen King marathons. I'm gonna be like, what time does Thinner come on? I still like this, and it again was so shocking to me when I found out that there are people that don't. That most people don't. That's astonishing.
Yeah.
Again, this isn't like my top 10 favorite movie or anything, but I am entertained when I watch it. I do have pretty heavy nostalgia for it. And I just the only thing is I wish I it would have been nice to get what was intended instead of what was kind of forced, if that makes sense. But I think we can go into ratings. I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea what you guys have brought to the table. I really have no idea. Again, there are some problems. There are some tonal issues. There's the whole back half that kind of feels like you fell asleep and woke up and you're watching a different movie now.
Yeah.
It's got its stuff.
It
okay.
does.
I'm not going to sit here and say that Thinner is the perfect movie. What I am going to say is that it does not deserve the hate that it gets. And the effects do not deserve the hate that they get.
No.
And none of it deserves the hate that it gets. I think that
You were getting us to co-sign.
Yeah, and-
Not so
and
much.
that it's a great movie. Hello?
Yeah.
No, it's a lot of fun. It is, I feel like, again, there's a lot of conversations to be had that are brought up within this film. And I think that maybe an issue that I have with it is it's okay for Billy to be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's okay. You don't need to try to, but his wife was cheating though. That's
Yeah.
why it's okay that he fucking brutally murdered her. Really? That you don't need to do all that. This can really be an exercise in taking a step back and being like, yeah, this was an accident. He didn't mean to do it, but accidents happen every day and horrible things happen, and accountability still needs to be taken.
Yes.
Even if you did not set out to do what happened, it still happened, and accountability still needs to be taken. There's this messaging of the privilege that these people have, that I did this horrible thing, and if it was Bob down the street, he could be in prison right now. But me, I'm friends with the judge. We play golf. Like, it's like there's this really, that's disgusting, but you still want to make it like Billy's like, no, man, he's trying. Like, it was an accident. No,
Yeah.
he's awful.
And then
Yeah.
he hires Janelle and he's like, you're not going to hurt these people, are you? It's like, what?
You
Well,
know who Janelli is.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
say.
again, I know I said it earlier. You're the reason he's still out here and he's able to do this. He murdered Gabe.
Yeah.
He killed him.
Well, technically.
Well, he set him up again. Manslaughter, whatever. But you know, it's just it's wild, and I feel like the more that we kind of pull apart the layers, the more that it's like, wait a minute. So I'm gonna stop pulling.
Yeah.
Because I do like this movie. So on a scale from 1 to 10, problematic poisoned pies, I am going to give Thinner 7 out of 10 problematic poisoned pies. I like this movie. I was a little worried because I've defended it so much over these years of us having the show that it was not going to hold up for me, but it mostly did. I still like it, and I will still be watching it. And I will now open up the floor to you.
I agree with you, and I feel like that watching the movie, just watching it, way better than picking it apart, because looking at everything you do, you're sitting there analyzing everything, and it's like, well, that didn't work. Oh, that doesn't make sense. Oh, that's confusing. What do you know what I mean? And I know that's our job, but it does, like, the movie, I don't love it as much as you do, babe, but I know that it's not that bad. It's really not. But like you said, the more we pull the layers. Okay.
Yeah, so let's stop doing that right now. Right before you guys give your numbers.
But it is a fun watch. We had fun talking about it. And I think you're right. It's just the back half that changes everything, because I like your idea, T, where the family is just innocent. They're just running this carnival. They're just doing this fair. That's what they do. That's their job. They're bringing happiness to these communities and going wherever they're going. And you guys, you're racist piece of shit, you get what's coming to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the introduction of that dude and making them seem bad as well, and everybody's just a bunch of bad fuckers. And it's like, dude, I don't understand why you did that. And then the thing too, like you said about the affair, if you really do take that out, is just... I mean, Billy's just, he is trash, but he's bigger trash.
I think that's what bothered me, was we got to make them bad too. We got to make Heidi bad too. It's like, no, you don't have to do that. Billy can just be bad.
Yeah.
You don't need to do any of that.
Learning about the test audience thing, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe they just wanted the whole room to agree before they were like, I don't know. That is weird. But I mean, if you've never seen the movie, give it a watch. You know what I mean? Watch it, or read the book and then watch the movie, or watch the movie and then read the book, and get your own opinion on which one you think is better, even if you like one more or the other, or both of them, or none of them.
Yeah.
I would say to watch the movie. You know what I mean? I would say to give it a watch. There is some problems. There's some things that still don't work, but I mean, it's Stephen King, right? Not Bachman anymore, because
it was, and no,
right now it's Stephen King.
He took the mask off.
Yeah. But all that to say, on a scale from 1 to 10, problematic poisoned pies, I'm gonna give Thinner a 6. I don't mind the movie, watching it as is, and just kind of like, oh yeah, and whatever. But sitting there and, I hate saying paying attention, but you really do. You sit there and you notice the little things that don't make sense, and it's like, okay, that really doesn't make sense. Or like you said, when dude shows up and shoots up the place and then throws dude. Oh, and it's like, you know that wasn't him.
Clearly,
that wasn't him. It is weird, because to them, they can't tell what's happening. You should know that he's hiding there doing that. You should know that anything. Y'all should know this. You showed us that at the beginning of the movie.
Well, it's a good thing you already gave your number, T.
But it's fun. It's good.
Like, you know what? No. It's too late. You already said it.
No, it is fun. That's really what it has going for it most. Sometimes it's fun in spite of itself.
Yes.
Most often. But I mean, I enjoy watching it when I do watch it, even if there are a lot of things to pick apart from it. I think my main issues is I want more horror, because in the moments where they give us some visceral horror, it actually works.
Yeah.
The moment with the chief.
Yeah.
The moment.
Or Lita.
Yes.
Yeah.
The judge's wife, that was probably one of the best scenes in the whole film.
Yeah.
I agree.
I want more stuff like that. I don't want him smacking his ass on the golf course.
I fucking knew you were going to find to bring that up one more time.
I had to. And in that way, I think it would be more consistent and a better watch. And I think I wanted more intent with the commentary.
Yeah.
Because they're really pulling out a lot of threads here.
Yeah.
Without making a sweater.
Yeah.
But, and the ending. Good fucking Lord. The ending is wild, dude.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable. And then he's kissing the corpse.
Yeah, that was
And
too much.
Then he's about to eat this pie which is good.
Yeah.
That should be the ending of the film.
Yeah.
But then he's like, white doctor from town? It's like, who was that for? Were you
We're
speaking
all-
into the camera?
Yeah.
But I mean, that is not to say, on the positive side, the makeup.
Mm-hmm.
I think the music was really good. Some of the scenic shots of Maine.
Yeah.
There's positives. But I just feel like this film could have been so much better with just some changes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's really all I got, I think. But it is fun to watch, and I will watch it again. But I will pick apart.
Talk shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite a bit of it. And the whole thing with Heidi is just confusing to me.
It is.
It is.
That audiences would be like, I can't believe they did this to Billy.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, what?
That's wild.
off mic when you came over today, you were like, I can't believe how much power test audiences
Dude,
have.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I do not understand at all. But for me, because there is a bit of nostalgia in it for me, and I do feel a little bit of goodness when I watch the film, even if there is other feelings as well. But for me, out of 10 problematic poison pies, I'm also going to give Thinner a 6 out of 10.
All right.
That's higher than I was expecting from both of you, so I'll take it.
It's not bad, but I mean, I agree with you. I would rather that the family just been good. Like,
Yeah.
we don't need to do all that adding dude to throw bullshit in there. Like, that's not.
And I think in there is a fantastic revenge story
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you, trim some of the fat.
Okay.
Because he's thinner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. That's it.
Well, we can end it there. Well, that's all from us at Podmortem. What would you rate Thinner, and what should we watch next? Let us know on Twitter at the Podmortem. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Blood and Smoke, at JuggaloDaddy84, and at TravisMWH. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Blood and Smoke, at RealStreeter84, and at TravisMWH. Thank you again to Original Cinematic for sponsoring this week's episode. Please consider pledging to our Patreon and stay tuned until after the music for a special shout out to our Wendigo Getter patrons. And remember, we all pay for our deeds sooner or later. Refusal to take accountability tends to wear a bit thin. Until next time. Thank you for staying tuned for a special thank you to our Wendigo Getter patrons.
Woo! Yeah.
Hey!
All right.
Very good. Very good.
A special thank you to Chris Ontiveros, Kristen Lofton, Megan Martinez, Kimberly Bass, Sophie Hodson, Anthony Jerome M., Jordan Nash, Kent Morton, Lala Tamez, Travis Anissa Hunter, Miguel Myers ATX, Jennifer Perez, Allison O'Neill, Carissa, TJ and Angie Bronson, Gabrielle Trevino, Spooky Mom, Applin Ontiveros, Karima Rhodes, Antonio Huerta, Kimberly Kleindienst, Will Brown, Sydney Smith, Osvaldo Soto, Bobby Holmes, Donna Eason, JD Rizak, Molly Gerhart, Armand Spasto, Aaron Aguirre, Eggy, William Barry, Brittany Ramatar, Charity Oxner, Amanda Six, Mandy Rainwater, Jordan Roberts, Dylan, Melissa Sierra, Holly Bryan, Jordan Blevins, Liz Heath, Spencer Montalvo, Pancake the Panda, John Ramos, Michael Newting, Alexis Roberts, Dan Laveau, Itzy M, Gary Horton, Leisha Olivier, Kate Lamp, Carlos and Sydney, Jessica Hunter, Helena Rudder, Alan Johnston, Mariah, Livy Fun,
Mandy M, Scott Troutman Wise, Mozzie Bear, Brittany G, Dave Burke, Adrian Stakes, Nick Spill, Emma Hagel Kissinger, Valerie G, Emiliana, Brian Glass, CB, Taylor Santana, Will Lewison, Angelique, Smelly Poo Poo Head, Beth Bauer, Cookie, Esperanza J, Jason Kyle OKC, Joshua Rumley, Danielle Peralta, Brandon, Nicholas Carter, Sawyer Reese Farr, Dr. Diva Loves Horror, Girl That's Scary, Cassandra, Andrea Simmons, Ashley Higuera, William and Xxena Rush, Ryan Brom, Megan Ochoa, Laura Lassiter, Natalie de Guzman, Eileen O, Marissa E, Sydney, Henry F, Megan M, Strangely Sarah, Christy Beck, Nancy and Andy, Amanda Lopez, Andy Terrell, Jason Hanovan, ML Tafoya, Abigail Spitzer, Katie K, Erica Morin,
Cameron S., Nicole Stewart, Tris Wynn, K.87, Mariah Jensen, Carrie A., Lonnie Lono, Powell, Kayla E., Maggie H., Fernando Dominguez, Murder Stina, No Thanks Tom Hanks, Kevin McGonigal, Kristen Marcy, Ori81 Boricua, Look Like That One Girl, Bog Boy, Montez ShamWow, Felnez63, Alita Pui, Probably My Jugs, Kate Thackeray, Wade Pack, Charlie V, A Lizard, Bryant Watson, Luke Ashley, Jay Rich, Jen Lassiter, Topher Williams, Elena Metler, Neil Chezin, Valerie K, Kim Sterling, Christy Lee Kruger, Professor of Humanities Laura McCarricker, Naomi, Josh Smith, Autumn Green, Jess L, Itzel, Heather Santiano, Abby Kopp, Crystal 831, Cassidy Carruthers, Skank Sinatra, Morgan Alexander, and Tony.
Woo!
Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you all so much.
We all mean it.
Yes,
Thank
very
you.
much. And I gotta say, we love you all, beautiful people from Discord.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Huh? You know,
That's good
like-
enough to end on.
Yeah.
Okay. Then let's do it. Until next time.